may feature copyrighted video and audio content under the guidelines of fair use permitted by copyright statute for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. All content and credit go to the original creators. No copyright infringement is intended. Shout out to everybody in the building. Smack that thumbs up as you come in. Here we go. But it's getting so out of control. Thank you for tuning in to MTGV, True Crime TV. Y'all know what it is, man. Team Vibe, Miss V. And make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. And make sure you leave a comment too. Yeah. Shout out to everybody here. Drop down in the comments and let me know who's here. We got a lot to go over today concerning Nolan Wells. Now, this happened on the 4th of July. I've been tuned in from day one. I did a couple shorts about it, and I have been tuned in to the details, and it's a lot of unanswered questions. I mean, this happened on the 4th, and we don't know basics. We don't know the basic information. I mean, when you really do look at it, it's a lot of strange behavior going on with this case, and we want to understand what's really going on, because too many of these occurrences is happening, and it was another one that happened on the 4th, and there's others that's coming up where people were drowned or allegedly drowned, found in the water. Okay, and then the family just came forward with a press conference with Ben Crump. A lot of people have been coming forward. A lot of people have been calling in to Ben Crump, getting the information, videos and pictures and different things. Because that's what I was going to say too. Like, why haven't the friends that was with him that day come forward and said anything? Well, we know they lawyered up and all that, but that, you know, it don't make you guilty that you did that. But a lot of things surrounding the case, period, like the keys, the car being in two different places and them having an issue with it. The same friend who had his keys, was it the one that had the keys? Warren. He is the one that called the Coast Guards. And so I'm going to get all into all of that, y'all. Let me see who's in the building. Shout out to BFF. Yes, y'all, please smack that thumbs up as you come in. I do have a goal set, if you can find it in your budget, to support the content, the channel, and all that good stuff. You know, it is a lot of research does go into my channel, and a lot of money is spent on this channel. So if you can help sponsor this live stream, that would be great. Shout out to Gretchen in the building. Shout out to my member in the building. How you doing, fam? I see you in the comments. I was just talking to you in the comments. Right, Forensics. I have not been live on my other channel in about I think my last live stream said it was 7 months ago since I've been on that channel. So shout out to you in the building. Shout out to my member. Good to see you. But we over on the crime channel a lot more than the politics channel. But I just want to get everything back activated, because I got a lot to say about a lot of stuff that's going on in the world. On the crime side, the politics side, we got to keep up with it, because the world is definitely moving. And every time I look up, there's a new something going on. Hold on for a second, y'all. So just even starting, and if you're in the building, drop down and let me know who's here. Be counted in this conversation, because I want to know what y'all think. What he said. Okay, so let me say a couple things that I'm looking at. Oh, do we got a troll in here? Somebody is in here cussing. Okay, it might be on the other channel. I'm streaming on both channels today. So let me look over there because I do have one of my phones tuned in over there. So let's see what's going on. But we definitely ain't gonna waste no time on nonsense over here. We never do. But getting to the basics, y'all. When I look at who, what, when, where, how, right? So we talking about Nolan Wells today. And the only thing that is really truly confirmed is that he went to the island with his friends. It's still so much that I don't know. We don't even know when they got there. What time did they get to the island? What time was his foot on the sand? What is the, I mean, because it's a lot, it's like 8 hours unaccounted for. You know, I remember them saying something about the time as far as when they left. Right? I heard 3 o'clock and 4:30. I heard those two times. And I gotta look to see, but I know 3 o'clock something happened. Okay, so yeah, 3 p.m. Nolan was last seen. Who was the last person to see Nolan? Who talked to Nolan, and who did Nolan tell that he was gonna stay behind to talk to a girl? Who did he tell that to? Did that even happen? The other thing, 4:30 is when the group left, right? So that's an hour and a half right there missing. So he was last seen at 3 p.m. Who all seen him last? Now we know that his friend Jalen came forward and spoke up. Then Jalen's mother came out and spoke out. I know, like right after Jalen spoke out, people was like, you know, they wasn't really feeling him either, and just wondering if his mother even knew that he was doing that, you know. And some of the things he said, I don't know. It's like he was kind of. They're all friends, you know. I went on Jalen's Instagram and seen pictures and stuff, at least of one of the guys that was there. Let me go through that right quick. The one guy that was there, the one that had his arm on Nolan's leg, that really stuck out to me too. Let me go to that right quick. You know, and I got questions, you know, because when they mentioned Nolan disappearing from the group, one of the things that they mentioned was that, well, the main thing that they mentioned is that he was going off to be with some girl. Going off where though? Because it's just a bunch of, it's what we see in an island, and it's a bunch of terrain and cactuses even under the water. I'm hearing is like, where did he disappear to that nobody's seen him? And if the last time Nolan was seen was 3 p.m., the group left at 4:30 p.m., but they left with his phone. So how was Nolan supposed to call for help? I mean, how was he supposed to contact anybody without his phone, right? And then we find out that the same friend that called the mother, called the Coast Guards, right? Warren. Correct me if I'm wrong. At 11 o'clock p.m., Warren or a friend from the group called the Coast Guards. But the Coast Guards didn't go out that day. That's a part that was missing. That's something that I found in my own research, because they didn't go out the day that they were caught. They didn't go out until what, the 6th, the day that or the 5th. They went out the next day. But what exactly did the person say that called? I'm assuming that they called and said their friend was missing. But what would prompt them to call at 11? Nolan didn't have his phone with him. So what prompted them to call? You see what I'm saying? Because I mean, did they not know Nolan's phone was on that boat? Did they not know that Nolan didn't have his phone? What would prompt the phone call to say that he was missing if they knew that he was with this girl? That don't make sense. And then right after the call to the Coast Guards was made, that's when the mother was called. Because I remember the mother saying that she was called at 11:07 by Warren, right? But he failed to mention that Nolan's car keys, his car keys and his car was there. Whoever had his phone failed to call and mention that. Nobody called the mother. Nobody alerted anybody. Nobody called the police before his mother called at midnight, right? So it's a lot of stuff that don't make sense. And some people need to be locked up. Some people need to be brought into the interrogation room for questioning. Now, I heard that people were questioned, but how long was it? Because from my understanding, the sheriff came out pretty quickly ruling this as accidental or something, right? That's what I had heard. Now, I have not heard anything that the sheriff said, but we're going to listen to what he said today. But from my understanding, and the reason why the family wanted to come forward with Ben Crump is because of the things that they were being told, or the lack of investigation, just instantly saying, oh, he drowned, oh, it's accidental, I don't see no foul play. When you hear that kind of stuff, you feel like, oh, they not investigating at all, and they about to try to sweep this up under the rug. So when people wonder, why did they contact Ben Crump, or why did they want Ben Crump as their attorney or to do a private investigation? That would be why. Right? I mean, so a lot of people act like they don't get what's going on here. We have seen this time and time again. With Ahmaud Arbery, if Ben Crump wouldn't have got involved, they wouldn't have got justice, because they had a DA that was wasn't bringing charges for it because they had a relationship with those people. The father, to be exact, I think he used to work in the office or something like that, and they wasn't trying to charge these people at all. The Breonna Taylor, they wasn't trying to charge nobody in that, and I'm not even sure where that ended up at, because it was just so much shady stuff with the Breonna Taylor case. And so that's why they chose them, and I'm happy they did. But I'm gonna be honest, one of the things that made me nervous is when I just felt like it wasn't the best idea when they came out and said that they was having an autopsy done somewhere, and just giving out all that information. I just thought that was too much. Even, in each interview they did, they talked about different stuff, and different information came out of each one of them. I haven't watched them all either, but the few ones that I did, the couple ones that I did watch, I heard something a little bit different. And they're saying that his Snapchat was empty when Nolan was the type. He was the picture man, right? He was always taking pictures, videos, catching people off guard, all kind of stuff. He was the life of the party, it looks like. He was they call themselves legends, him and Jalen. And him and Jalen really were really good friends. From just looking at their social media, I seen them together in a lot of stuff. But let's start with this picture right quick. What stood out to me in this picture, since they mentioned a girl, right? And what was the beef going on? We heard an argument, which they've since said, oh, that wasn't Nolan, that was somebody else. His friend Jalen said it was too far away for him to even tell if it was Nolan, but I would think if when you know somebody, I don't care how far away it is, you can tell if it's them to me. Because when I looked at it and zoomed in and all that, I thought it was him, the hair and all of that stuff. I don't know. It's just a lot of unanswered questions. But just to point out some of the things I have highlighted on this picture. Number one, what's in Nolan's hand? I just wondered what was in his hand. I wonder when the last time he was seen with his phone. I also noticed all of them have on some beads or something. It looked like the one guy don't. But I see two people holding cans. What are they drinking? Was it underage drinking going on? And then I'm noticing the placement of his friend's arm and hand, like on his inner thigh. I feel like that's an invasion of all of his privacy. You know what I'm saying? So looking at this, I'm wondering, did anybody have a crush on Nolan in the group? I mean, because think about it. They mentioned a girl and him going off with a girl. A fight was mentioned somewhere in there. Some disagreements, some things happened. Oh, and Nolan gonna stay by himself, with the girl. He ain't gonna be with the bros no more. He gonna stay with the girl, right? And then the female, Katie, said that he didn't stay with her. He went with his group that he came with, basically. So somebody please make it make sense. I'm just saying, it's a possibility that somebody could have made a pass at him. Somebody could have been attracted to him. Somebody could have been jealous. Somebody could have been mad because he was the man. You know what I'm saying? He was into sports. He had all the girls, and a lot of them white girls, was around him. But we know that he's half Filipino, I think. He's Asian, half Asian. And he had a diverse crowd of people that he hung around daily, a lot. When you into sports and different sports, you get the whole bro code, bro thing going on, everybody hanging out. But in this picture, he was the only black guy, and on this whole island, it was only probably 5. I seen a sprinkle of them. I even seen a black woman out there in the water near the scene where they were arguing. And I didn't even put in all of that stuff that I had at first. But that's right. I was supposed to be doing something looking at. I don't think, I think it's coming from this side. Yeah, I see forensics over there. So let me concentrate. Wait, where am I at here? But shout out to everybody in the building. Y'all drop down and let me know who's in the building. Let's see. Public pressure, always a big deal when properly applied. Exactly. And Ben Crump is effective. I mean, he really is. And a lot of people don't understand what it is that he do, but he definitely brings attention to cases that they trying to sweep up under the rug. I mean, it's necessary. A lot of times people say, well, it ain't gonna be no justice when you see Ben Crump. All he do is get money and all of this stuff. But in this case, we seeing, if you paying attention, he talking about, they doing their own investigations on the phone, asking people to give information to them. And that's what we need. That's what we need, because we just got to be honest. I have covered a lot of these cases and they weigh heavy on my heart. I think the last one that I covered was Javion McGee like this. And it was just so discouraging, upsetting, frustrating for this 21-year-old truck driver to be found at the base of a tree. And then they want us to believe that, he took himself out. He was ready to go. So he gonna take that long drive from where he stayed just to off himself? No. Jelani Day, no justice, cover up. They all have familiar things in common. Little answers, easy, quick to rule it as accidental, or the other one, they did it to themselves. It's an outrage. It's ridiculous. Then they talk about the rate of unaliving going up for black men. No, it's because y'all rule every single hanging as that. That's why it's going up. The rate of black men taking themselves out, because they're being taken out, and people know when they see them on a certain on a tree. That's it. Oh yeah, they did it to themselves. Let's keep that ugly secret hidden. But ain't nobody stupid. We see what it is. It's been happening forever, and it needs to freaking stop. It's disgusting. But I'm gonna get through this without getting emotional or upset. But it pisses me off, y'all. That's why I take my time with these kind of cases. But yeah, so just looking at this picture alone, that came to my mind. What are they drinking? What is anybody 21 in this picture? Now I can't tell what they drinking. Do anybody know what kind of cans are they holding up? Because I don't. But and I don't know the names with the faces either. That's another thing. We don't even know who the guys are that he was with. Was it 5 of them? I'm guessing it was 5 of them, right? Well, or 4. Now that's another thing. This picture that we're looking at, this picture didn't come from the friends. This picture came from a female who called the mother and sent this picture to her because she took the picture for them. Now, who the female is, I don't know. But with that being said, the friends haven't released anything to the family, not even telling them that they had his property. That alone, you called her to tell her whatever. I don't know what all he said to her, but he called the mother at 11:07 and said that her son was missing and whatever else, whatever they said. Oh, he went off with a girl, but never said that, oh, we have his phone, or never said, his cards and keys is here. That alone makes no sense. So if they left at 3 p.m. or if they left at 4:30 and they last seen him at 3 p.m., what prompted his friend to call the Coast Guards? And then whatever he called and said to the Coast Guards, they didn't bother to go out and look for him. So let me just see what y'all saying, and then I'm gonna get into some other stuff. But I gotta go on the other side. Somebody is dropping F-bombs in here. I forgot. Hold on. And then that's the last one that I see. Let's see. The young man who had talked, the mother said that she went and got the phone. Yes, and she didn't go get the phone. Javon, because it's a Jalen and Javon. So I think, his friend name is Jalen. Let me put something else up. His mother went and got the phone. And it took 15 minutes, or it took a long time for them to come out and bring the phone and give it to her. It was some shadiness with that. And like I said, she has since came forward and said something too. Who want to be out in the middle of no man's land by themselves? Like, what? This place, you can only get there by boat. You got to leave by boat. It ain't no water, no cell phone reception, no kind of reception going on out there. It's really scary. You know what I mean? Like in the middle, that little island in the middle of the water. What? No, thank you. Hold on. Never. Heck, I never believe it. It's forensics. It's just something that they say to keep it going. It period. Keep the secret going. Ain't no secret, especially when you got more and more people coming out comfortable talking about this stuff. So other things, okay. So one of the things that we know, his mother said that he spent the night with his friends on the 3rd. The same place that he spent the night at is where his car and keys were found, right? And I think the father said that was the one that they called Jack's, where his car and keys was found. And he also made a point to say he was asleep and he came out with his hair all over his head, all over the place. So the mother, she said that they left the morning of the 4th of July, but we don't have a specific time that they left or a arrival time. We don't have that, because I was really confused on that. Like, all I remember hearing is 3 p.m. and 4:30, and I'm thinking, well, how long was they on the island? Make it make sense. So they departed from a private dock in Ocean Springs area, and you have to have your own transportation. I remember it being said around 4, the boat started taking in water or something, and that's when they left. But did they leave because the boat was taking in water, or they just left? They was leaving anyway. That I don't know. What made them leave Nolan? Why? I mean, who was the last person to talk to him, and what was the conversation concerning him staying with this female? And what it says, Judge Ashley's son is Warren. Warren called Nolan's mom at 11:07, tracked by, and that's another thing. Why I gotta get that confirmed if Ashley is Nolan's stepmom, because we do know that she's the stepmother, and she has other kids, according to something that I had heard, that she has other kids. Nolan's parents have 6 kids, and I heard the dad say that he had twins. He has a sister that's off in college, off by herself, who has to deal with this alone pretty much. Like, he said that she got them by phone, but she's there and got to lean on people that's close to her. And that's really sad, man. This boy, he was at the height of going to college, about preparing for whatever he had to. He had workouts and stuff that morning, so they called it his last hoorah. Who was the captain of the boat? Who was driving the boat? Was one of these kids, teenagers, driving the boat, or was it an adult with them? We don't know that. Why don't we know these basic things? These are the things that when you have all this stuff unanswered, this is a setup for a cover-up, because the most important thing is to get these people in for questioning, to get statements down, to see what they're saying. What did they say on the 4th? What did they say on the 5th of July? You know what I'm saying? We don't have none of that. No drug tests, no alcohol tests, no toxicology, right? So then they'll come up with, oh, Nolan, he had this in his system and that in his system, and everybody else was clean, when we clearly see cans in people's hands. What's really going on? Like, so all of that information we won't have, which is crazy. It's not okay. John said it looks like a Red Bull. And you know what? I thought energy drink when I seen that can, but I haven't seen a Red Bull in a while. But we do know that energy drinks get mixed with alcohol. But if he's holding a can with energy drink, you don't know what's in it. But people I know, they mix alcohol and Red Bull together. And it seems like they do a lot of partying. Now, this is stuff that I got off of Javon's Instagram, and I'm just showing this guy is around a lot. The white guy with the longer hair, the one that had his arm on Nolan, he hangs around with Javon too. And he's the only one that he's very recognizable. He stands out to me from all the other guys, and mostly because his hair is the longest. I can point him out in the crowd, and it's like black. So he just really stands out. And there's no doubt that Nolan and Javon was great friends, and the mother even admitted. Now, this other guy that came forward talking about he was the best friend, and that was him arguing with his girl and all of that. His mother don't know him. His parents don't know him. They don't consider him a friend. Like, who is he? Even some of the ones that he was with on a boat, they started hanging out around high school and stuff. But Nolan had a fun, goofy personality. He was silly. I can just tell in some of the pictures that I have. And he was on the water a lot with his friends. This is something that somebody had posted. Well, actually, Nolan posted this on his page. See, he just silly. That's him and Javon being silly, dancing, flipping, being goofy. That was them. They were really good friends. But everybody, one thing that stands out to me about everybody, they're very calm. Even the parents. I would be hysterical, I would think. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he was an all-around sports guy. And when you play sports, all the ladies want you. I don't care what race you are. And when you the main man and you good in sports, you pulling everybody. So you might have some people that's just jealous because they ain't getting it like that, or jealous because they wanted you. I mean, I don't know. Now, this is something that I found. Now, this is coming from Evan Knowles' page. I don't know who Evan. Well, they said that it was a pool party that night Nolan went to, and all of this. Now, I heard that I heard that this was actually a week before that. But I don't know. I have no way of verifying that. You can see that Nolan is in there, in that water. But I didn't do this. Somebody recorded this before he unprivated it or whatever, or privated his account, I guess. And they're saying that this was from a week before. But whoever recorded this actually, they're saying that it was on the 4th. I do see where I'm circling it at. It says 1 week, but I don't know when they recorded it. So I just know that it's on this person's page, though. I mean, that's the one thing that we can see from that. And let me see something. But what is it about this case that stand out to you the most? Okay, so the person that recorded this, they wrote the timestamps from Evan's thread account. It says timestamp from Evan's thread account. This was public 7/11/2026. He made his page private 7/12 of 2026. And then they says 1 week ago from 7/11 would be the 4th of July, correct? That's what they're saying, right? And then it says swipe slides, last slide is screen recording to show the pool picture is not AI. And then it says, Nolan Wells, you guys were asking about timestamps and wondering about Evan's threads post. Now, Threads is on Instagram. Before he made his page private, people were asking about his Threads post. I made sure to include screen recording so you guys can see Evan did actually post those pictures on his actual page. So from my understanding, when you have Threads, and it's another download that you have to do on Instagram, I never did it because I don't want all these downloads on my phone. So I never downloaded the app. But from my understanding, when you post something on your Instagram page, it automatically loads to your Threads. And then you can invite people to threads, or they can join threads and find you or whatever. And so even if you delete the post off of your Instagram page, it's still gonna be on your threads. So is there anybody in the chat that has threads that know how it works? But that's what I heard. Shout out to Tim in the building. Shout out to Bronze in the building. One of those white people unalive that man. Yeah, it's looking like somebody did something to him, and some people know what's going on. Those kids wasn't asked no questions about anything to do with Nolan. Exactly. Nothing is on the record from what I know. And I mean, Ben Crump might have said a little bit more today, so I am going to pull that up to see what they talked about today. But the video that I did see, the audio was kind of low. Another thing, there was a 3 a.m. boat cleaning and a 1 a.m. pool party or something. Those are some times that I remember. But technically, Jalen, it was 8 hours in between. So if nobody's seen him since 3 o'clock, 8 hours later at 11 is when somebody questioned, well, where's Nolan? Is Nolan okay? Or when somebody thought to call the Coast Guards and call his mother. That sound planned. That sound like you was just waiting and trying to figure things out, what you gonna say. You know what I'm saying? A whole 8 hours. And what alerted you to call anybody if you knew he stayed with the girl, right? How did anybody expect him to call anybody if he didn't have his phone? Okay, that don't make no sense. And then the last time his parents seen him was July 3rd. His mom said he cooked dinner. So I'm picturing that it was sometime in the evening or early afternoon that they seen him. And then the next call they get is 11 p.m. on the 4th of July night. Yeah, a lot of stuff ain't making sense. So we know that it's a Dr. Roger Mitchell that's doing the autopsy, which, man, that's crazy. They said they were sending the body to Washington. I didn't like that. I didn't like that they told that. I just feel like you shouldn't show your hand. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't show your hand, because now they have not released their autopsy results. And I'm trying to figure out why. Also, it was said that it wasn't nothing wrong with his body. Didn't they come out early on and say that? I'm thinking that the family was able to identify him, because I remember hearing that they was out there when he was found, right? And I remember them saying, oh, they don't want the cameras on them and all of this kind of stuff. And they were going to identify the body. How did they identify him if they couldn't see him? The mother, the first, when Ben Crump went on Don Lemon, that was about 7 days ago. The mom had not seen his body. So where did that even come from that she seen him? They identified him. How did they identify something they couldn't see? I'm so confused. He didn't have his wallet. He didn't have his phone. What was on Nolan that said it was Nolan? I remember them saying they had to get dental records, and that is the reason why I'm thinking, what was he was unrecognizable. Now the water can be really harsh. Really harsh. I mean, it is. Jelani was found in water, and I mean, your organs be liquefied and all kind of stuff. And sometimes that be the game to keep them, because it washes away a lot of stuff that you need, right? It's just sad, it's unfortunate, and it's upsetting, because this is something that we hear all too well. So when it comes down to this island that he was on, there are no reservations or time entry is required to simply visit the Horn Island on July 4th of 2024. There is no bridge or public roads to the island. You must arrive by private boat, kayak, only for experienced paddlers, or a commercial charter ferry service. Those transportation providers typically charge their own fares and often require advanced booking, especially on holiday weekends. So, I mean, I guess they got commercial charter or ferry services. You must arrive by private boat, kayak, and then in parentheses it says only for experienced paddlers as far as a kayak, or a commercial charter ferry service. So can somebody come out there and be the service, or do they have it? Anyway, I'm not clear on that, but those transportation providers typically charge their own fares and often require advanced booking, especially holiday weekends. The island itself has no facilities. It has no restroom, no concessions, or ranger stations. Visitors are expected to bring all needed supplies and pack everything back out. So if you want to do something bad, this will be a place, because ain't nobody coming to rescue you no time soon. And man, I just don't like it at all. And then if someone planned to camp overnight, they should review the wilderness regulations with park staff before the trip. But there was not a general reservation requirement just to spend the day on the island. And then it says for the 4th of July, the main practical hurdle would have been obtaining transportation, not obtaining permission for the National Park Service. The charter boats and ferries operators can fill up well in advance on Independence Day or Independence Weekend. So let me see what y'all saying, but yeah, I wouldn't want to be out there in the middle of no man's land. I'm just not a big fan of a big body of water and being in a vulnerable position, because ain't nobody coming to save you. And then it was another video that came out where they had it was a bunch of guys in American flag shirts, and people was physically boxing. You could see noses dotted and everything. And I'm not sure if it was from this day, but it is being said that it is. That was a fight going on. So I mean, how many fights was it? And then, so with that being said, I mean, this is a place you can go where police don't show up and ain't standing around policing you. You know what I'm saying? Federal government land, Fordman said. Now, yeah, because I seen that they used to, back in the day, they used this for the military or something. But I seen it, but I didn't read enough, so I don't. Let me see if I could find something. So, public ferry operators in the area primarily serve Ship Island, not Horn Island. Horn Island is typically reached by private boat or private charter vessel. So, some of the things that we don't know still haven't been answered, that I just feel like we should have had the answers to, is, like I said, who owned the boat? Well, who owned it? Who was driving it? Who was operating the boat? How many people were on the boat when it left? How many people were on it when they got there? Was there any adults with these teenagers? I mean, I really want to know that, because that mean that, if they had alcohol, then adults will be in trouble for that. Did the boat make more than one trip to Horn Island? Because we know that the father he didn't say that, but he did say when they were out there on the 5th, Nothing was found. Nobody seen anything. And he at the time, it sounds like he was under the impression that they had already been out there and didn't find anything. So I gotta look more into that. I know it was a bunch of people that helped search, but we'll probably get to that before we get out of here. Cause I just have a lot of stuff. So let's see. Yeah, so did the boat make more than one trip out there? Because people were saying, oh, they did something to him at this party and then they took him back out there, which that didn't make sense to me. But I mean, it didn't make sense to me that they would do that. I mean, but it don't make sense to me that something happened to him on the island at 3 p.m. Possibly between 3 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. and it was like 200 people out there and nobody seen nothing. That don't make sense. You're not gonna be able to keep that many people quiet. It ain't happening. Somebody is gonna say something. Candy said, me personally, I have a 16-year-old about to be 17 years old son and a 14-year-old son, and that would have been too far for me not to be with them. I don't care how old he is. Thank you. Exactly. Now, I don't know how far the ride was either from where they lived to where they went. How long did it take them to get to the island? Like, it's just so much that we don't know. And I mean, to me, these are basic questions. We need a plenty of answers about this. Exactly. I'm just saying, because I'm like, it's so many gaps where it shouldn't be. Somebody said they beat him and put him in the water. Very possible. Very possible. Being at the family, see, when you're not allowed to see the body right away, that's a red flag to me. I don't care what shape it was in. They should have been able to see him right away. Why can't they? To identify him. Why did he have to be identified through dental records? And again, I do know water can do damage. Now, I ran across some females on Facebook that claimed that they had some information about how he was found and handled. I don't know who they are or if they credible at all. It looked like both of them had on scrubs. So if they work anywhere, they gonna probably get let go. If they were legit. But yeah, they were saying that he was found face down. They mishandled his body and had him face down on the gurney and all this stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know where they got that from, but that's what they said. I seen that on Facebook today. And so were there other private boats that Nolan was expected to return on? So yeah, so how about that information? If the friend who said it, who said he was gonna stay off with a girl? What boat were they in? Did he have eyes on the boat? Did he make sure his friend was gonna be cool? Because to me, he should have. You leave with them, you leave, you go with somebody, you come back with them, period. That's just the way that it is. You don't drift off with a stranger that you don't know. So he just decided, I'm gonna stay with this girl. And then I heard that she said no, he was gonna go with them, and something about her parents made her get on the bus. Who cares? Somebody said, if you don't care, get the hell out. That's for sure. You ain't got to be here. Hi, chat, and I agree with you on showing your hand. Yeah, and no, they identify him by his dental records. Yes, and that's what I'm saying. Why? Why couldn't his parents identify him? Was he that bad off? Because we know when it comes down to water, that the fish and all the aquatic animals or whatever, they attack you down there and they could do some damage. And that's why they put them in water, to be honest, to make sure that happens. Make sure they the most important things wash away. But it's just too many unanswered questions. Hold on, let me get to this one. Move this out the way. Just too many unanswered questions. Was anyone asked to pay for fuel or transportation? Who organized the trip and invited everybody? Yeah, whose boat? Because whoever boat it was, that's who was in charge of everything. Because you the one that got them there, right? I don't know that because it's just been so much. I'm not sure. Was the trip planned in advance through text or social media? Now we do know that it was planned at some point because he stayed overnight over their house, and I think it was Warren, right? I think I'm not sure. Let me see if y'all know. But yeah, I just wish they would have never showed their hand as far as oh we gon' because the reason why I say that when you like oh we gonna ship them to Washington and this that and the third, don't you know this is a big organization? These racist people that we seen at the Capitol, and all that stuff they was just doing on the 4th of July. All these people walking around with masks and sunglasses and hats, scared to show their face, and all of that stuff. These people are organized. They're your local doctors, teachers, lawyers, judges. I mean, it's no different from back in the day when they had the hoods. They just since COVID, they decided, oh, we gonna do the mask. We gonna do that. You know, these people are calling. These people are, doing what they do, figuring things out, threatening people, possibly paying people off. Like, I would have never said that, man. When I watched it, I was like, oh my God, why? Because I actually watched it live when he was talking about it, and that was my instant reaction. Why tell them? And then give the name of the person. Godly. Mm-mm. And then I remember the mother saying that it was like jurisdictional issues when it came down to reporting him missing. That's another thing. You own water and not land. Is it what department do they call for a missing person? I don't know. Now that's another thing. I did say, how long does it take to travel from there to there? From the island to where they live and stuff. How long would it have taken the group to get back after leaving at 4:30? But yeah, so having issues on who's gonna take the missing report and all of that. Then let's see. Were there any Coast Guards or Marine Patrol inspectors of the vessel that day? And somebody should have been out there too. Like somebody should have been out there policing things to me. You got a 200 some people on the island and it wasn't no police out there. They got boats and stuff. They could have been right out there. I haven't heard anything about that. I haven't. So I'm just wondering, was it? And then this boat that they went on, did they have that inspected? Like, why would they? When was the last time they had that boat on the water for them to say that the boat started intaking water? Was it because it was too many on it and they was flipping it over, it was getting water in it, or was it a hole somewhere? I don't know. I'ma think not because they made it back home, right? And then authorities have stated that they are reviewing witness interviews, text messages, videos, and other digital evidence while asking the public for original media from Horn Island on the 4th of July. Now they might be asking all of that stuff now, but in the beginning, the family was not getting what they wanted, and that is why they reached out to Ben Crump. So I guess what I could do now is pull up, let's get caught up on what they talked about in today's interview, because I don't know. And I do have a goal set up on the Crime Podcast channel. If you want to support the content, just hit that 1 to 10 and please support the content, the channel, and the host. I'm curious about the financial or family money difference between Nolan and the White Boys. Saw a couple of Law and Order TV show episodes that mirrors this terrible situation. So one of the things that I was looking at was his, what you saying that, and then we gonna go to the video of today. But one of the things I was looking at is their GoFundMe. And I know that they had mentioned Colin Kaepernick and Tyler Perry paying for the funeral, Kaepernick paying for the autopsy. But their GoFundMe right now is at $687,805. And what it reads is, in love and memory of Nolan Xavier Wells. Our hearts are broken beyond words. Nolan Xavier Wells was a beloved son, grandson, brother, friend, and teammate whose life touched so many people. His smile, kind heart, and love for others left a lasting impact on everyone who knew him. After an extensive search involving countless volunteers from the United Kingdom Navy, first responders, local law enforcement, the United States Coast Guards, and organizations from across the region, our worst fears became reality. While no words can ease the pain of this unimaginable loss, we are deeply grateful for everyone who searched, prayed, shared his story, and stood beside our family during these difficult days. As we begin this painful journey of laying Nolan to rest, we are asking for help to ease the financial burden placed on our family. Funds raised will be used for funeral and memorial expenses, celebration of life services, and any additional costs associated with honoring Nolan's memory. Any remaining funds will help support the family as they navigate the difficult days ahead. Y'all, please smack that thumbs up as you come in. That is the free way to support the channel. So please smack that thumbs up if you haven't got a chance to yet. If you are unable to donate, we ask that you continue to pray for our family and share this fundraiser. Your kindness, compassion, and support means more than words can express. All money raised goes directly to the family. Thank you for standing with us, for loving Nolan, and for helping us honor a life that ended far too soon. Forever loved, forever remembered, never forgotten. Now, one of the things that stuck out to me on here was the top donator. And the top donator was Byron Allen. I hadn't heard his name, but Byron Allen 4 days ago donated 100,000 to this fund. That was beautiful. And then the next highest donator was 3,000. So you had a couple people donate 3,000, but a lot of people donated 1,000. Only a few donated. One only donated 2,500, and the rest is in the thousands. But 100K is what Byron Allen gave, and it wow. That's what's up. I'm happy that they getting the support they need, because they calling in got Ben Crump, and they calling in all these experts and all of that stuff. And the conference that I'm about to pull up, they spoke on that too. The things that they're doing and all of that stuff. I feel like, let's see. Shout out to Tabany. Welcome in, fam. I'm doing good. How you been? I feel like all the young men should pay for everything since they're supposed to be such a good friend. Exactly. It's just crazy. I mean, it don't read good friend to me. I mean, it kind of, just like I said, the Coast Guards called at 11 and the mother called at 11:07. Why did it take that long? And what prompted it? That's what I would like to know, because by this time they've been gone for hours. You know what I'm saying? They've been gone for hours from the island. What would make them think to do that? I saw that, and by their 15-year-old family member. Oh, I'm not sure what you're responding to. There should have been a Coast Guard somewhere because the people had to have life jackets for everyone on the boat. Yeah, it should have been some Coast Guards out there, man. I mean, I didn't see any, and I haven't heard that any was there. It's like, I just feel like if you're gonna allow people to come out there like that, then they should at least have that. It's just a no man's land. I'm good with no man's lands, for real. How about the 7 black folks unalive by family members? And yeah, we ain't talking about that right now. It's a lot go on in the world. We can't cover everything in one day. We ain't talking about that. We talking about Nolan right now. I just Googled it. It said 15 to 30 minutes to get from where he was at on the island back to regular land. Okay, so just back to regular land, 15 to 30 minutes. Okay, so under an hour for sure. But I just wonder, once you get on regular land, because I would think that they would have been driving a truck, right? Some type of pickup to be able to pull, or even a SUV or something that pulled the boat, right? And they would have had to park the vehicle somewhere. Well, I guess, I mean, yeah, they took off, right? They took off from the somewhere in Ocean Springs, but I don't know if I read the exact spot, but some dock area in Ocean Springs. I don't know where that's at. But so yeah, their vehicle would have been parked out there also for them to attach it back and all that. So yeah, if the boat was in taking water, then how would they then turn around and come back and bring his body back out there? Because I know that's something that people were saying, and that just don't make sense to me. What makes sense to me, even though it don't make sense, is that something happened while he was there, and they left him. But I mean, that only reason why that don't make sense is because they are saying that they left that early. So now if they left later, then it would make more sense. Where it's dark outside, you can't see everything going on. But when it's daytime, you talking about somebody freaking drowning and you got 200 people out there? Come on. The island is what, 11 miles long, or 11 to 12 miles long, or something like that. There should have been a grown up out on that water. Exactly, with them. Like, I mean, pretty much they kick it like they grown. I know, they out of high school, but you ain't 21 yet. Especially with leaking water. That's what they saying, leaking water. Oh yeah, water. It was coming on a boat. I heard the black lawyer that lives in Atlanta, but he's from Mississippi. Now I did see a lawyer, speaking of a retired lawyer, or no, he was a judge who's now a lawyer. He came out strong. Like, he know what they should be doing. He was telling us, the arrest that could have been made already. And it's just like, they didn't want to put no pressure on these people. Seemed like to me. It seems like, they was headed for ruling it as, oh, accidental, and that's it. So one thing for sure, two for certain. When the public come out and speak, it do get things moving, because don't nobody want this bad stuff on their name. But they don't mind. If ain't nobody talking about it, they gonna do it and ain't gonna give a damn. And even when people are talking about it, they still gonna try they best to cover it up until they can't cover it up no more. A lot of them people out there might have been on vacation. Some might have been from another state. Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it's a whole vibe if everybody acting accordingly. But you out there on water in the middle of freaking nowhere, and people out there fighting and arguing. Like the one friend Javon, when Jalen, when he did come out, he mentioned that it was a fight out there, an argument, and his friend was super mad. What was that about? What was he so upset about? And who was it? Who was he mad at? Was it two people riding together that was upset? Why is everybody upset? Because if Nolan decided to not ride with them, what was the other reason besides the female? Get out of here. Why would he need to be identified by Deno only 2 days if that was in the water? Yeah, I mean, it seemed like they could have been able to identify him. Shout out to Tone. How you doing? Bruises don't wash away, and maybe people don't know. If he was beaten after he was unalive, the bruises are well, they can do things to tone them down though. They can tone down them bruises a little bit and have him messed up. Like I said, the aquatic. I remember when this one kid, he was found face down in some type of water, and his face was dang near eaten off by the fish. So there's many reasons why people do that. Then it's like, oh, well, I can't tell if it's from this or that, or I can't, they do stuff for certain reasons that will mess up the body for autopsy, for real. They do it on purpose. The friend said that what Nolan usually do, leave together, come together. Exactly. And I believe that that's what happened with this. I believe that that's what happened with them. Dennis, you can get up out of here. Where's my mods at? Where's my mods? I don't know where Dennis is at talking stupid. But anyway, we ain't gonna give him no airtime. I'm gonna find you in a minute. As soon as I put these videos up here. So let's get into the latest information, because I haven't listened to this. I haven't listened to any of it in full. I just been like gathering different information. And here it is. Wait, is this? Yeah, we should be good. Let's see. And like I said, this audio is a little jacked up. Last time when I listened to it, it was two ladies said they talked to someone from the field. They burned his body and left it in transport truck and put it in the water. Are those the two ladies that was on Facebook that I was just talking about? I don't know who they are or if it, legit, but that is what was said. Mm-hmm. Let me know if y'all can hear this.
If it was no.
So we really do want to keep it for.
We don't need all that music right now. But now, hold on, let me get this off the screen. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the grown-ups did something to Nolan themselves. Exactly. Because it was definitely grown-ups amongst the teenagers, that's for sure. And it's Ben said something like 50 to 100 people are calling in daily, so they gonna get to the bottom of it, sound like to me. And if them boys unalive that boy, they need 35 years each. Okay. How about life? The way that they did him, left him out there, lied on him, took his phone and all that. Like, I mean, come on, man. Like, that's all this. Oh, he gonna stay with this girl, but we got his phone, keys, car, ain't told his mama nothing. His parents ain't told them nothing about where his stuff is at. Had to track it down themselves. Make it make sense. I'm trying to get this because they was okay. There it is. Hold on. Hold that thought. Join Sleuth Nation membership and become a sleuth for special members emojis, special badges by your name, and sneak peek videos. Join Sleuth Nation membership and become a... Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. For sharing. For sharing. For sharing me. Thank you for sharing. Please subscribe and press that notification bell and thumbs up. Please subscribe and press that notification bell and thumbs up. Please subscribe and press that. Okay, I got it here now.
Good morning. I'm attorney Ben. Good morning. I'm attorney Ben Crump, along with attorney Lisa Park, attorney Eric Harris, Justin Preston, and Cliff Jones. We have the honor of representing the family of Nolan Wells. We have present with us his mother and father, Christine and Elmore. We've just had an opportunity to meet with District Attorney Angel McElgrath and some members of her team. We had a very respectful meeting. The thing I assume some of you may know, the thing to announce, she shared with the family that there will be a grand jury that she will turn this case over to once they have collected all the information and finished their investigation. We also
That's a
agreed
plus.
that we will have a mutual inspection of the cell phone with our experts and their experts.
That's a
Attorney
plus
Eric
too.
Kurtz is helping lead the investigation team with former law enforcement experts who are going to help us with the cell phone download. So everybody will be able to see at the same time what the cell phone has.
Now that's exactly what should happen because they know that we have a good reason to feel uneasy with the uprise of police brutality and the change of the world and just everything that's been happening. And I think they should keep this going for real. Work together, even in autopsies. Because I mean the worst one was Kendrick Johnson. Found him with newspaper in his body. The cover up was real, but Jelani Day was horrific too. So yeah, they need to do that. Work together.
We also talked about trying to make sure we dot every I and cross every T. I know that we're getting about 50 calls a day to 100 calls a day from people who were there on Horn Island, people who are familiar with individuals that were there on Horn Island. And so we continue to be steadfast in trying to get to the truth of why Nolan Wells is dead. At this time, we'll have Attorney Hertz say a few words, and then Christine and Elmore would just talk about the homegoing services and celebration for Nolan, and then we'll take a few of your questions. Attorney Eric Hertz.
Thank you. Right now, there's a lot of unanswered questions. We appreciate the district attorney meeting with us, but because of certain types of confidentiality that even the victims are not allowed to know. We did not get all the answers we want. We have an independent investigation going on that involves former law enforcement federal agents that are going to be looking into all the different information we got. The calls are coming in and we're getting a lot of information. Some of the people that I spoke to are not talking with law enforcement here. We're going to be trying to get them to cooperate with each other because we want to make sure the narrative, which has been put out that is false, is going to be corrected. So at this point, we just ask everybody to keep calling in if you have any information and let us know. And I personally, if we validate you're a legitimate call, we'll call you and talk to you. And I thank you all for showing up today.
And now, Christine and Elmore will just share with you some details of the homegoing celebration for their son.
Hello, everyone. So, the homegoing celebration, the funeral will be held at Center Point Church in Ocean Springs. It is going to be visitation will be 9 to 11, and then the funeral will start after that. The plan is for the repast because, again, we want to celebrate Nolan, and he would not want us to be sitting around crying and eating. And so, what we're going to do is kind of have a party to celebrate him, and that'll be held at the Jackson County Fairgrounds. So, we really do want to keep it for family and friends. We are going to allow media to come in as well. And lastly,
His teammates.
oh, absolutely, teammates. We've already contacted Coach Les George because we want to make sure that those guys are there. Former teammates from high school, middle school, teams that he played against. You guys are all welcome. But of course, we want to make sure that our families for sure and close friends get there. So I do want to just say for those of you, again, if you are having protests, even the day of his service, I am asking you guys to just keep it peaceful. Nolan would never want any type of violence or anything like that. He was not that kind of person. So if you guys would, again, just be peaceful, and to the community, thank you so much. Um, just the outpouring of love, support. We've had some local officials. Mayor Casey Vaughn from Gaucher has reached out to us. Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you. He has, it's almost been every day. He's been texting to check on us. Also, Jeffrey Hullum, thank you so much. He's been texting pretty much every day, receiving a lot of stories from Nolan's teachers, which just warms my heart, his classmates, teammates. So again, for those of you who have donated to the GoFundMe, once again, I stress, if you are not financially able to, we're not begging for that money, okay? If you're not financially able to, we understand. We thank you for whatever you can give, but if you cannot, if you would, just keep us in your prayers. And to his friends, stay strong, and please just take care of your mental health because I know this is a lot. It's a lot for us, and I know you guys are feeling some of that too. So thank you all.
Are there any questions? Yes.
Attorney Skyler Heavy here with CBS News. The last time that you spoke in a setting like this, I know you guys were hoping to get results back from an independent autopsy. I know you mentioned that Nolan had been sent to
Washington, D.C.
Is there anything to share on that front?
Not at this time, but we hope soon, very soon. Obviously, we're concentrating on the funeral services, but hopefully shortly thereafter, we will be able to tell some findings of the preliminary autopsy. Still waiting on some things. And also, while we're talking about funeral services, want to thank Mr. Tyler Perry for paying for the funeral,
Absolutely.
as well as Colin Kaepernick for helping to shoulder the expense of the independent autopsy. And I thank Reverend Al for agreeing to officiate the funeral services. Yes, sir.
Aaron Hill, Chris, NBC News. Mr. Nesvante, you said from the very beginning that for you, this was really about getting some answers about what happened to your son. Do you feel like after your meeting today, you have any more clarity on what happened?
Well, it was just a meeting where she talked about the process. She didn't tell us any information about the investigation.
Y'all, please smack the thumbs up. I'm looking on the vertical. We only got 24 thumbs up. It's 53 people tuned in over there. So please smack that thumbs up. If you have not, to support the content is very important, and it's free. The thumbs up is totally, completely free.
Too much because those things are, as she said, her role and what she has to do. But they still have questions, and that's not insignificant to this meeting. It's just in general. Every morning they wake up and there's a hole in their heart, and they are trying to say, "What happened to my son?" Obviously, they feel strongly that he would not have just stayed behind. He wouldn't have left his cell phone, and so we're trying to get to those answers.
Attorney Trump, Ryan Rose, GC Wire. There's been a lot of misinformation that's been spread online, especially the pool picture that was shared by you, and you had said that.
Well, I didn't share it. I reposted it. We're reposting everything. Let's make it clear. We're reposting everything because we're trying to get people to come in and call. And so we've said from the beginning, we're in a ferocious search for the truth. And so things out there, we are trying to post, ask people, do you know something about this? Let us know. Just because we repost does not mean that we authenticate anything. Look at our social media. We have always been very careful to say this is a repost, and we almost always give a declaration that that's what it is, a repost. And so we want people to continue to call about everything, videos, whatever interactions they saw. And thank God, we are getting dozens of people calling every day saying, I was on Horn Island. This is what I saw. I know these individuals. This is what we know. They said, we understand the sheriff's investigation has hundreds of people calling too. And so the hope is that when this is presented to the grand jury, all relevant witnesses and evidence will be presented to them so that we can have a fair and impartial investigation into the death of Nolan Wells. We were very honest and candid with the district attorney. She was honest and candid with us. Our lived experiences tell us that we must question everything, everybody's role, law enforcement role. That is the lived experience of us as Black people in America. And we would be not honoring the ancestors' sacrifices for us if we did not be honest every chance we got when we talk to power. Yes, sir.
You mentioned the false narrative out there. Well, I've seen quite a few of those, so I was wondering if you could tell us which false narrative you're talking about so we can let people know.
Yes,
Was there a particular false narrative?
There's a lot of narratives out there right now, and
there's a lot of narratives we're going to try to investigate out.
there's a lot of narratives out there right now. I'm not going to comment on any particular one, but whenever a case this big gets in the news, people try for whatever motivations, law enforcement or whoever, people that call in, try to set up a narrative so that people will follow the narrative. Our job is to cut through all the noise and find the truth. And the truth needs to be found by unbiased investigation, as well as unbiased lawyers and all the people that are out here, all you investigatory journalists and everyone else. We just ask that you keep an open mind until we get to the truth.
And one of the things I will say, we are trying desperately to figure it out. And we don't profess to have all the answers, but boy, we're trying. And so when people call and tell us this is this person, and then we get somebody saying that, no, this isn't that person, we're trying to balance it all. So we want to even be more careful ourselves to make certain that we're trying to get people to come forward. And there are a lot of people who have different perspectives. We're getting that just from the phone calls, that people who were there at the same time are saying different things. But we're going to get there. We're going to get to the truth.
So first, I
Yes.
just want to say my deepest condolences to you, Christine, and Elmore. My heart hurts. I pray you heal WLX here at home. But I want to go on and ask you, Attorney Van Crump, you say that you were talking about the process in there with the DA. Were any affidavits or prosecutions or criminal actions presented to her to be signed eventually, or do we know anything
Yeah.
right now?
And as she says, her role is confidential at this point, so she can maintain her prosecutorial independence. Obviously, I stressed to her very strenuously to say, we want you to zealously, you and the Sheriff's Department, to zealously investigate this matter. And Christine and Elmore share their life experiences too. We know through our lived experiences, our life experiences, and she said that's not how our office operates, but we know in America, in the South, certain people are investigated differently. And we shared that with her. We didn't, ask that she understand our perspective, but we said we should mutually try to understand each other's perspectives, where we're coming from. And we agreed that we will try to do that.
Where are we at in the investigation and autopsy? We're supposed to get it back Friday.
Well, no, we like we said, we're waiting, let the doctors do what they do. They ain't got their autopsy back neither. So we're trying to get it right. And then when we get it, we're going to share it. Yes, ma'am.
On Friday,
Yes.
Bringing home, what are you doing?
That's what a witness told us, and that's what we reported out. Then another witness had come forward and said, no, that was his voice. We have other witnesses who said there were other altercations. So, as Mr. Hurt said, we're trying to go through it all and so forth. And we'll be even more careful to say this is what a witness told us in the future.
And so your team hasn't been able to fully confirm whether it was or was not Nolan that said
No,
that?
we have audio people doing it, but we know certain people said it was him, and then certain people said it was not him.
Are you worried about the death threats and the
Well,
violent kind of atmosphere of social media and how these fake videos and photos can play into
oh
that?
my God, I saw a
Even
fake video.
with friends getting death threats?
We don't want anybody's life to be in harm's way just because we're trying to get to the truth of what happened to Christine and Elmore's son. We saw fake videos about AI generated videos of Christine, and it's just god awful as they're grieving and trying to fight for the truth that they are also having to deal with these fake videos attacking them as they are just trying to literally bury their son next week. But we want everybody to say that we can go through this journey together for the truth. And even though we may have different viewpoints, we can all agree that everybody wants the truth, and nobody life should be threatened for seeking the truth. Nobody should be presumed accountable until we have evidence. His mother and father only want, and Christine has said it multiple times, she only wants what you would want. When you want desperately to get to the truth, when you want people who were closest in proximity to what happened to be investigated and thoroughly investigated, we know that, if it was Nolan, how would he be investigated? So, one last question.
Real quickly, just curious about the dynamic that you guys have had, Christine and Elmore, with law enforcement up until this point. Have you all been able to speak with the sheriff, any of the lead investigators since what happened last week?
So that was actually clarified in today's meeting. The DA's office wanted to take over that communications because they do have a victim advocate, which I appreciate. But of course, that wasn't what she, took responsibility and accountability for. But we were not communicated with that information. So for us, like I said before, the last time we actually spoke to someone with the sheriff's department was last Tuesday. That was via text message that I initiated, just asking for an update. So that's the biggest thing is, I appreciate that she took accountability for saying, hey, that was actually our doing. But, we have a setup now. And so the hope is that we'll have that open lines of communication.
And Attorney Hertz has
Okay.
Let me just say that under the law,
And don't.
a victim is entitled within, I think it's 72 hours to get an incident report and to have certain information shared. It's been more than 72 hours, and that's part of the meeting here today, to start getting the incident report and all that information that we came here to collect, as well as listen to the district attorney and what she had to say.
Did you get that report?
No, not yet. We are working with them to say there need to be better communications with the clients and so forth. So the big things that we know, there's going to be a grand jury into the death of Nolan Wells, and number two, that we're going to have a mutual inspection of Nolan's cell phone. We just want to make sure everybody else's cell phone is also being downloaded.
I like that. A grand jury and a cell phone, they gonna get together and look at his phone. That is how all of them should go, because the trust is out the window, man. We have so many examples of things that we could go through to verify that. Why should we trust what they say? Why should we? So I'm happy about that update, but I'm concerned about them lagging on their autopsy. Like I said, if nothing was ever mentioned, then their autopsy would have been out already, is in my opinion. They could be kind of waiting around to see what theirs is going to say. It just would have been nice for him to have never said anything and it just happened. Like, I just don't get it, man. So shout out to Gretchen. Thank you so much for helping me get closer to my goal, fam. So again, I do have a goal set up. If y'all want to support the content and the channel, that would be nice. But shout out to you, Gretchen. Thank you so much for being a member, and thank you for helping us get closer to our goal. Shout out to you. Let's go. to you. Okay, so let's get into some more information. So we know we talking about Nolan Xavier Wells. He was 18 years old. His hometown was Ocean Springs, Mississippi. He graduated last year, I believe. It says recent graduation. Yeah, he graduated in 2025 from Ocean Springs High School, I do believe. He was a wide receiver at Southwest Mississippi Community College. He was a wide receiver. He was widely described by coaches and classmates as respectful, hardworking, and well liked. He definitely was a people person. You know, his parents said things about him too. And so the verified timeline that we have is Nolan traveled by boat with his friends to Horn Island. It's about 10 miles off of Mississippi Gulf Coast. He was last seen around 3 or 4 p.m. According to Jackson County Sheriff, his friends returned without him after reportedly decided to remain on the island. Investigators have said witnesses reported he wanted to stay behind to talk with a woman and expected another ride. Now, what was that other ride? So late 4th of July, Nolan's mother, Christine Wamsley Wells, reported him missing. Search efforts began involved, so it says, but it didn't start right away. But Jackson County Sheriff's Office, the U.S. Coast Guards, Mississippi Department of Marine Resources, Gulf Island National Seashore, and the United Cajun Navy volunteers. On July 6th, a park ranger, out of all those people that I just named, that was involved in the search. I didn't mention the park rangers, but the park rangers are the ones that discovered the body in the water near the northwest end of the Horn. Now let me pull this back up. So yeah, the body was found at the northwest end of the Horn Island. Authorities said the body matches Nolan's description pending identification. That was on the 6th. On July 7th, authorities confirmed the body was Nolan's through identification procedures, which was dental records. His family publicly announced their devastating loss. That was all on the same day, on the 7th. What investigators have officially said, and it's confirmed by law enforcement, this is the only thing confirmed so far. Nolan was last seen alive on Horn Island. He did not return on the same boat as his friends he arrived with. A large multi-agency search was conducted. His body was recovered near Horn Island, and the investigation remains open. Like that's like I said, it's a lot of unanswered questions. We still don't know the cause of death, but I do know all it takes is for them to find a body in water and they'll say that they drowned automatically just because of where they found them at, which is crazy. And authorities have indicated they initially suspected drowning, but they also said the investigation was still ongoing. But they said that out their mouth and no foul play or something. Don't nobody want to hear that. The final autopsy findings have not been released publicly, but I believe they got them because they were supposed to have them like Friday or something, or just a preliminary, I'm guessing. But toxicology results have not been publicly released. And the family's position, Nolan's parents have repeatedly stated they want a full investigation, transparency, answers about exactly what happened on Horn Island, leaving nothing out. You want to know every single detail. The family has retained Ben Crump, as we know that. So the questions that remain unanswered: why did Nolan stay behind? Who was the woman he reportedly stayed to speak with? Who was supposed to bring him back? What happened between the last confirmed sightings and his body being found? Why were some of his personal belongings reportedly left behind? What would an autopsy and toxicology ultimately show? These questions are part of the ongoing investigation. Okay. And so some of things we talked about was verified and was not verified. Was not verified is claims that Nolan was assaulted, claims that he was unalive, claims involving racial motives, claims about deleted evidence proving a crime, claims identifying specific individuals as responsible. So, nothing is considered verified or official unless the police are saying it, pretty much. That's pretty much how that works. Because we know that his family was saying some of this stuff. And they know, I mean, I believe it was deleted stuff because he's the cameraman. And so I believe that he would have been the cameraman that day as well, like he always is. And hold on 1 second. So on Friday, July 3rd, Nolan visited his parents the evening before, which I said Horn Island, before his outing. His parents said he cooked salmon for them and hugged his mom goodbye. His car was later found parked at the residence where he had stayed with friends before the trip. So that on the 3rd, after dinner, he went to his friends or whatever. That's where he stayed all night. So Saturday on the 4th of July, before the trip, Nolan traveled with his friends by boat to Horn Island, in an uninhabited barrier island accessible only by boat off the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Approximately 200 people may have been on the island for the holiday, according to family's attorney. At some point, Nolan's cell phone was left left in or on the boat, left in or on a boat. One friend later said many people left their phones in the boat because they expected to spend time in the water. Yeah, but once you come up out the water, you got to get into the boat. At that point is when you would grab your phone, right? That is the point that you would grab your phone and all your belongings and put them back with you. Matter of fact, you're going to check your phone and do a snap, or you're going to check your messages if you can. I mean, it's no cell phone. They say is no cell phone activity, but people had devices out there. I don't know. Was it the person that took the video that we hear? Was, you know what I'm saying? Did they have a camera, a video recorder, or was they on a cell phone? Because some people's cell service is better than others. I don't know. Some people have hotspots, but I mean, I'm guessing it ain't no cell phone towers out that way. The reason why they say that. But somebody had something because they was recording and all kind of stuff and taking pictures, which we know you could do that. But hold on. At some point, Nolan's cell phone was left the group rather than hold on. At some point, Nolan's cell phone was left in or on a boat. A friend later said many people left him. Yeah. So Nolan's keys also remain with the group rather than with him. That's another thing. Like, that's crazy. And then we remember the whole thing that they said about the keys, where the father said when he put up, Nolan's friends were already there. Some of his friends was already there and in the house. And he was basically saying that he needed to calm them down because he needed to be able to get something. He needed them to trust him and be able to get something from them. So then they came out and all of that stuff. And one of the guys that was with him was on the phone. And he said that he was talking to a girl, and the girl said that the keys were there on somewhere in the house. So we're gonna get to that part too. But before we do, I want to go to what the sheriff said And I'm gonna get back to what I was reading, but what did the sheriff say? Like, which one is this? I think this one is from like 7 days ago, closer to when it happened. Let's see what he said then.
This morning, investigators in Mississippi are combing over videos taken on Horn Island.
Hold on. Y'all, please smack that thumbs up while I get this video together. And share it out too. Shout out anybody that shared me out today as well. On top of the Xbox. Thank you, Fordman. Yes. So I'm assuming that Xbox was in somebody's bedroom. Another thing, that stuck out was that the guy that had the keys was knocked out. He was asleep. And that make me think they had a whole drunkard night too. Like, how could you sleep through this without being lit? I mean, because not knowing where your friend is, you've reported them missing and all that. His parents don't know, and you just go to sleep. Some people, after devastating things like this happen, they don't sleep for days. But it sounds like his friends didn't have no problem sleeping. Still not reporting to his family that you had all his stuff.
This morning, investigators in Mississippi are combing over videos taken on Horn Island around the hours Nolan Wells was last seen alive, including this clip from social media that has gone viral, the contents of which are unclear.
I don't know the origins of that video at this point, but yes, we are looking into it. That's been brought to our attention.
Wells and his friends were celebrating the 4th of July. The sheriff now looking into claims from the mother of one of the friends, who says Wells decided to stay behind when a mechanical issue caused their boat to take on water.
I believe I'm aware that she said that, or she may have made that in a written statement, but as far as our findings of that, that's still part of our ongoing investigation.
ABC News confirming one of Wells' friends on the trip made a missing persons report to the Coast Guard around 11 p.m. that night. Wells' mother filing her own report with the sheriff department just after midnight. Authorities have said they believe Wells drowned, but the sheriff stressed their work is still ongoing to determine exactly what happened.
We're awaiting the state's autopsy report from the medical examiner's office.
Wells' family attorneys launching their own investigation. They allege his cell phone was returned with deleted text messages.
At this time, we do not have the cell phone that they speak of. And we've never had the cell phone, but it is to my understanding that we requested the cell phone for an extraction. We're working towards the same goal as the family. We want a thorough investigation, and that's what we're going to continue to do until we arrive at the answers that the family deserves.
Now, that's why one of the concerns that I had with the cell phone not being with the police is that they would consider it tampered evidence because they not like official police people that work with them and all that, and folks that they hire to do these things like that. So I'm so happy to hear that they working together, because that would be bad. And we know that these cell phones, they can retrieve everything deleted and find out everything about it.
And the sheriff says he and his team are still reviewing a substantial amount of video and images they have received from the public. And he says he welcomes that independent investigation the family attorney says they plan to conduct. Michael?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of questions still to be answered there. Appreciate you, Alex.
Yep, and still, them same questions we still want answers to. And we have nothing. I mean, nothing. Nothing. This is crazy. How many days in are we? Still no answers. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, everything, my computer moving slow for whatever reason. But so, I mean, what I really want is the full interview of what this, his name is John Ledbetter. That's how it's spelled. But I think this might have been yesterday that he came out and said this.
been a week since Nolan Wells' body was found on Horn Island. As the country sits and waits for the investigations to conclude, many questions are still left to be answered. Today, I spoke with Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter on where the investigation stands. Speculation continues as to what happened to 18-year-old Nolan Wells over Independence Day weekend. Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter met with WLOX to give what updates he could. However, considering
this investigation is active, it's ongoing,
he wasn't able to confirm much. Ledbetter did confirm that interviews have been conducted with witnesses, and the department has been in contact with other departments and agencies, including the FBI. The investigation has benefited from information brought by the community.
This recent week, we've got a lot of valuable information that has come from the public. We put out a call to action last week for that information, and it has been very productive for us.
Many are preparing for the return of Wells' autopsy. However, toxicology testing is conducted by outside laboratories, and the analysis and review process can take several weeks. A spokesperson for the Mississippi Department of Public Safety states every case is unique and deserves a thorough review. Therefore, cases cannot all be handled the same way or in the same timeline. While theories circle social media, those who are close to Nolan are still waiting for closure, as one friend spoke in an ABC interview.
I think everybody needs to let the investigation continue and let the facts be shown. And if the fact shows that somebody harm Nolan, I hope that there is justice brought. And if it was a tragic accident and somebody didn't speak up, I still hope justice is brought. The facts is the only thing that's going to overturn that. So that's what I'm just waiting patiently to see before I think anything else. I just know I've lost my best friend.
Okay, so I'm going to pull that back up in a second. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, that's something that I want to talk about too, is the family's part of their when they talked about the phone and all of that stuff. Hold on. So that person that came out and said that he wanted to spend time with the girl, that guy, the friend's name was Trayston Shepard. And it says a friend, Trayston Shepard, later said Nolan had met a young woman that day and appeared interested in spending more time with her. Shepard said that this was the first time Nolan and the woman had spent time together. Like, that was his first time meeting her, is what I'm understanding. And it just don't make no sense. None whatsoever. It says the friends returned to mainland without him. There were conflicting accounts about what happened immediately before and after that departure. The sheriff says witnesses reported Nolan intended to stay and secure another ride. Nolan's family says that explanation does not fit his habits, especially because he did not have his cell phone or keys. Ben Crump has said a witness claimed Nolan had intended to leave with his friends. Okay, so that female that they said he was going with, her name is Katie, she said that. So it's like, oh, y'all trying to put it on me? Nah, he said he was going with y'all. So what does that leave? That leaves Nolan just wandering around on the island and nobody is claiming him. Okay, the friend said he went with her, she said they went with him, and we all know the outcome. So he's just out there just wandering around by himself with 200 people not helping. It don't make sense. So the young woman reportedly connected to the island encounter has been described in reporting as saying Nolan left to look for his friends. But that account has not been publicly released in a sworn statement by the authorities. So then the evening of July 4th, Nolan's mother used the Life 360 app to locate his cell phone on the mainland. His parents attempted to locate him and eventually reported him missing. Nolan's mother said there was confusion or delay over which agency had jurisdiction because Horn Island falls within a complex mix of federal, state, and local authorities. So one of Nolan's friends also contacted the U.S. Coast Guards, okay? And that wasn't until 11 o'clock. So, I mean, get out of here. And then, so that's the part where I want to pull them up to talk about that as well. So give me a second on that, y'all. And thank y'all for everybody tuning in. Let me see what y'all saying. Y'all, please smack the thumbs up. I'm over on the politics side. Let me see. That post the aunt made was a bit odd. She stated the girl went in another boat elsewhere. That friend said we didn't want to see him die. So they saw what happened to him. Yeah, okay, I do remember hearing that nobody wanted to see him die. Yeah, physically, I mean, yeah, he did say that. You are the best person to talk on this. Oh, thank you, V3. I appreciate that. Oh, you covering this. Today is my first live stream on it. I did a couple shorts. And yeah, please hit that thumbs up. Brian said, thank you. Many questions, Terry France said, and looks like a red book. Okay, so I read those. Let me see. Gretchen said, I don't believe that he would have met a young woman that day and stayed behind to spend more time with her. Exactly, because he could have gotten her phone number and came back to spend time with her. Exactly. I mean, unless he didn't have time, you know what I'm saying? Oh, he got to rush and do this and that. Yeah, and time and come to find out he didn't have time because it ended. So, I mean, they act like he had to do everything in one day. Like, yeah, you would have get the number. He got plenty of females knocking down his door. Like, why her? Why would he want to stay on water to possibly get hurt? It makes no sense. It definitely makes no sense, but they definitely thought that we was going. We ain't going. The parents ain't going. And I'm happy because it takes the family, it takes the family to come out. When the family don't speak, people don't know. The family is what make people more compelled too. And just the person, what before his family came out, people was already on this. But it really helps keep giving information because stuff happen every day. I mean, every second of the day, quicker than that. So people will forget. People have a short attention span and everything. We living in a TikTok era. You know, people on to the next. Oh, do I have it up yet? Let me make sure. Okay, yeah.
He made it home. My sister and I actually went through Nolan's cell phone.
That's when Jackson County and the Sheriff Department.
Art was so big. And
your outlet, so we know who is speaking. And let me say again that we're standing with this family till the very end and make sure we're dealing with justice. Let's first hear from the mother, Christine Wansley.
First of all, I want to say thank you, everyone, for being here. This is not how I wanted the world to meet my son, but here we are. So, as you know, I'm Christine Wells Wansley. I am Nolan Wells's mom. And Nolan is the kindest soul. He never met a stranger. He loved everybody. He didn't care if you were black, white, purple, green, looked like a marshmallow. Like, he just wanted everyone to be in peace with one another. He loved life, And God gave him this big heart, which always scared us. Me and his dad had conversations with him all the time, not just about the importance of understanding our history as Black people, but also the importance of how you have to move in certain spaces. And it's not us being, feeding into racism or the stereotypes that comes with that. Unfortunately, that is just a matter of fact. There have been many cases, many instances that shows it's unfortunately a pattern that he did not like. He did not like that there was so much division, and I think that's why God gave him us. He was really a peacemaker. He wanted, like I said, everyone to be included. He never wanted to leave anyone out. He just, even at a young age, I don't know, he was, how old was he?
18?
No, not 18. When he was a baby, he did a little dance. So his father and I were having a moment, and as couples do, and even in that moment, he runs in the room with his diaper on, of course, and he starts dancing because it was like he could feel the tension. He could feel that something wasn't right. So he was just a special kid. Like, he was a special kid, but again, just heart was so big. And we're gonna miss him dearly. But we are grateful, especially to our friend Tashima, who actually was one of the people who helped us that night. She went and picked up his cell phone from where it was, and then provided that to us, because we of course contacted authorities to figure out who to do the report with, whether it was the county or the city, which then turned into DMR, who I contacted immediately from there. But
Tell them how you got the cell phone.
so our friend actually, when I called her, Nolan is best friends with her two sons, Jalen and Javon. When I called her, I said, Tashima, have you seen Nolan? He's missing. No one has seen him. No one has talked to him. The boys were actually with her sons. So they opened up their Snapchat, because a lot of the kids do have their locations where they're tracking one another. So one of the boys says, well, it's showing that, I can't exactly remember what his location was showing, but my Life 360 location was showing something completely different. It was actually showing that his phone was like he was on land. And so we ended up, she received the phone from that parent, and then we met up where his car was, which was at a separate location. There were issues obtaining the key, but even so, there was just a lot of.
Tell them about what happened with the keys.
So I'm going to let my husband tell you about that, because he actually went up to the door to get the key, because at that point, I was just not in my right mind.
Okay, so I do want to just point out again that these people are, I don't know how they talking calmly like they are and how well they doing, but God bless them, man. I will be a freaking wreck. But the different locations of like his phone from Snapchat versus what she's seen on Life 360. Now, Life 360, I found out about that app like in 2020 on a case that I was covering. This girl named Ashley, she was driving on the highway and her window was down. She must have had the phone. She was driving and going live at the same time, which is very dangerous. And her phone fell out the window, right? Her mother got an alert that her phone, that she was in a crash. So Life 360, man, that is a hell of an app, and you can share it. They got a free version. You don't have to pay for it, and you can share it with anybody that got a phone. And so it is a great app to have. That was my first time learning about it. And I have since covered other cases where they talk about Life 360, and you can get it in the Play Store. It's something that is a must. If they didn't have that, they would have never found his phone, because it don't sound like his friend was planning on telling them anything. Whoever, I don't even know what to call these people, the ops. Shit, I mean, because you got to be an op to not be trying to help in every way that you can. They should have went to the mother's house when they got back from the trip. How do you leave somewhere 4:30 and don't contact the mother until 11 at night, or 11:07 to be exact? I think I heard her say. And then she calls and report them at midnight, and it could have took so long because she said it was issues, so it could have took her to midnight because she was being given different numbers to call. You know what I'm saying? And so you just don't know. Shout out to Frugal Mama in the building, and shout out to Stay Dangerous. Man, we was just talking about you the other day, fam. Good to see you in here. Yes, still doing my thing, trying to, it's always a struggle. But we definitely here. And today is our first day talking about Nolan on a live stream. So thanks for tuning in. Thank you all for tuning in. If you didn't get a chance to smack that thumbs up, please make sure you do. And we're going to get back into it to see what else they got to say. This is the very suspect behavior that somebody should be locked up for already, because they just should. Let's listen to the father.
This has just been an awful situation, just terrible.
Elmore Wansley, the father.
Okay, so the situation with the key. When we got to the house, a few of his friends, they were already there. And they were...
Wait a minute, I'm confused because he just called him Elmore Wormsley. So, and Nolan's last name is Wells. So I thought that was his dad's last name. Interesting. So Nolan has her maiden name? Make it make sense, y'all.
At the door in the house, asking questions. So when I walked up, they were getting, things were getting kind of tense. So I turned to them and told them, I need you guys to calm down. I don't do this to me right now. I need them to kind of trust me so they can give me something. So I was able to calm them down. So the guy, he's in one of the pictures, he came out of the room, half asleep or whatever, where.
Now, I wish they would say their names. I mean, maybe they've been instructed not to say their names, but I mean, to me, it ain't throwing them under the bus if what you're talking about actually happened.
I think Jax or whatever. And I said, look, I'm Nolan's father. I'm here to get his keys so I can get his car. So I turned to them and told them, I need you guys to calm down. I don't do this to me right now. I need them to kind of trust me so they can give me something. So I was able to calm them down. So the guy, he's in one of the pictures, he came out of the room, half asleep or whatever, where I think Jax or whatever. And I said, look, I'm Nolan's father. I'm here to get his keys so I can get his car. I said, he's like,
his car was in the yard.
His car's parked in the yard. So he was like, I don't know, man. Nolan's like my brother. I said, well, if Nolan was like your brother, would you please go in your room and see if you can find my son's keys so I can take his car home? He walks off, 2 or 3 minutes, come back. I can't find the keys. I said, okay. So at that point, I get the boys and I get to move them out the house because I didn't want them to go into the house and start tearing up these people's houses because then that would be a whole nother situation. So walk outside by the car. One of the guys that was in the house with us, he was on the phone with a girl, and the girl told him that Nolan's keys were on top of this Jax guy's Xbox in the house because apparently she was there with him earlier. So he goes back up to the door by himself, and 5 minutes later, the keys come out. So now I feel like you done lied to me. So now I'm really like in distress with you. But as far as that night goes, if I knew anyone who had a boat, I would have went out that night looking for my son. We tried, but I don't have friends with boats. But if I knew someone with one, I would have went out that night. And this so happened that his coach saw all the stuff on Facebook that next morning and called and contacted me at like 5 a.m, asked me, did we want to go out? And I told him yes. So within an hour, he was at the dock. We met him and we went out. We docked the boat, got off the boat, walked on the island, walked a pretty nice stretch, came back, got back on the boat, went around the island, looked, came back around, and where we went to, that's where apparently they say that his body floated up. I don't know a lot about water currents over there, but I would think that we would have saw his body. And on the trip there was a family that stayed a night on the island, like actually tented out on the island. So if he was left, he would have saw that family on the island, and there was 2 other boats docked, so he would have had help. So I don't know. I don't know. I think we stayed there for like an hour and a half. That's when Jackson County and the sheriff department showed up, and they were going to do their rounds. And I had a classmate of mine, him and his 2 boys, they came out and they searched, and then they got back in touch with me and said the Coast Guard had finally showed up in airplane. So
what is so critical, what Elmore is saying, is they went out on Sunday, and the tide, if it brought his body up, he went missing on July 4th, as they say. His body should have been there on July 5th. Why would it not appear to July 6th? And that's one of those things that's just not adding up. And the fact that if he stayed behind on the island, there were boats there, there were people, somebody had to see something. That's why it's not adding up. And that's what they're saying. It's just not adding up.
Yes. And if he was there 2 days, somebody on the island would be able to verify that. 2 days and nobody's come forward and said, no, he was with us, or no, we saw him. It just does not make sense. Make it make sense.
Just one last thing. We want her to talk about the cell phone deleted messages. I'm sorry. I thought my voice was loud enough. One last thing. We want to have Christine talk about the cell phone from her perspective before they tell you who Nolan was, and then we'll take your questions.
So when we made it home, my sister and I actually went through Nolan's cell phone, particularly Snapchat, because that is so popular with the children. And when we opened it up, there was nothing. There were no saved pictures. There were no snaps from that day. And we did open it before the 24-hour expiration. So we found that very concerning, only because anyone who's ever been around Nolan will tell you at social gatherings, he's taking videos, he's taking pictures, he's even come up to me when I'm getting ready to go to bed. Hey, Ma, come on, take a picture of me. You know, like that was Nolan. So that's why we feel that things may have been deleted, was because of the fact that there was nothing in either one of his accounts. But I do want to say this. I would hope that any parent who, God forbid, would be in our situation, I would hope that you would do the same thing. I would hope that you would ask for any help, receive any help to get answers, because at the end of the day, that's all we want. We just want to know. We just want to know what happened and why our baby didn't come home. Like that's our biggest thing. And we are so grateful to everyone, family, friends, classmates, United Cajun Navy, everybody that's assisted us. We appreciate you. There's not enough thank yous that we could say or give to you, but I just, we just want to know. We want an honest, thorough investigation. That's all we're asking for. That's it.
Do you want to say about who Nolan was, and then you talk about your
Nolan is a person with a big heart. He's loved by not just his family, but the community. He's a born people person. He really developed a bond with his baby brother, because both of them play the same position. So he was really understanding the business side of the sport, which is football, and understand that it's not just a game you playing. So the stuff that I was telling him, it was kind of starting to sink into him, and he was really getting more in depth into it. And I could see as he did that, his baby brother really started getting more into it as well, as far as being more focused, because he saw, well, if my big brother is about to go do this great thing, then I want to do this great thing, but I want to do it better. That's why that's what made them so like vinegar and oil. It was like they was always at each other, but they were the same. When I look at my youngest, I'll say Nolan, or when I look at Nolan, I'll say my youngest name. So they would train together. I would always say, hey, you did some push-ups, you need to ran some routes. And they know when I say that, next day they're out there running routes. Even my other son, he'll go out there. He doesn't play their position, but he will go out there and work and exercise and work out, because they were understanding what I was talking about. They were growing, they were becoming men. So this was his time. He would always talk to me. I would always give him my advice about stuff. I always try to tell him what to look for. And I was always telling him, I said, son, I'm giving you this advice and I'm telling you this stuff, but you're going to have to experience this. But when you experience it, it won't be foreign to you. You'll have some kind of idea of how to navigate through it. And I think me and his mother, I think we did a great job with that. That's why it's so hard for me to believe that he would choose to stay on the island. It just wasn't in his character. It wasn't his character. So Nolan is the funniest kid in our family. Speaking of the time she was talking about, yeah, we were having a kind of heated moment, and I don't know if you guys remember the little dance called Stanky Leg. I think my son created it because we were sitting in that closet looking and just like talking. He literally came to the closet door and peeked around and stood in front of him and just started doing this little crazy dance. And I was like, we just bust out like whatever we was arguing about, we stopped laughing. Then we called him to us and we just hugged and laughed and played. But then maybe 6 months later, the song got a hit. But we always said he created the Stanky Leg dance. But that's my greatest memory of my son.
What are you telling your other children about this?
My son Ethan, he's hurting. These are the ones these are the younger ones. He's like, Dad, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm like, son, you got to keep going, because he would want you to be better. His youngest brother Elmore, the one that really worked out with him, he was like, I'm hurting, Dad, but I said, Nola wants you to be the best he can be. He would want you to outdo him, and whenever you feel like you're in a bind or having some kind of problem, call on your brother, talk to your brother. My twins, the loss of a younger sibling is hurting them. They have to figure out how to navigate through life without them. And my daughter Carly, with her being away, it's really hard for her because she's not around family now. So she's out on her own, doing life and doing what life does, but she's doing it on her own. So she has to do this by herself. We're here, by phone, but we're not there in person. So she really has to draw on the people that's around her when she's not home. So all together, my family, this is going to be our new norm. He was the jester in my court, and yeah, he will be missed greatly, not by us, but by the whole community.
We will announce the funeral services when it is finalized, and we'll be going to help with I will officiate at the funeral in Mississippi. Again, we'll take your questions, but identify who you are, and please be respectful. The families in mourning, but because they want justice for their son, they came to New York to make this appeal. But let's not make this a circus. Yes.
Christina National from the New York Post. First of all, I just want to say I'm so sorry about the loss of the family. I have a couple of questions. When was the last time you heard from Nolan? What did he say? Was there a call or a text? What was said during that last interaction? And also, how do you know that it's Nolan saying, give me my phone, what you're doing in that video?
Say that last question.
How do you know that it's Nolan saying, give me my phone, what you're doing in that video?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you want the second one is other children who are saying it was Nolan. Yeah.
So the last time we spoke and saw Nolan was July the 3rd. He actually cooked dinner for me, actually for us, because I had gotten off work. It's been really busy. And so he cooked dinner. It was salmon. He baked it. So proud. And then after that, he was just like, hey, Mom, I'm about to go. I love you. Gave us a hug, kiss, and he left. Which, of course, he knew we always looked at the Life 360. So there were times maybe he didn't call us to let us know when he made it, but we would see it. He would text at some point, but that was the last time we saw and spoke with him.
Sir.
Two questions. First, who was doing the independent autopsy in Washington, D.C.? And the second question is, as part of your independent investigation, have you planned to reach out to the other voices and ask them to voluntarily speak to your investigation?
Dr. Roger Mitchell is doing the independent autopsy on behalf of Nolan Wells' family. And we understand that the young men have lawyers, so we will have to have their lawyers agree to let them speak to our investigators, and we have not attempted to talk to them as of yet. We have been attempting to talk to many of the students and people who are out there that we are aware of.
Okay. Right here.
You go. Oh, okay. Justin Finch, Inside Edition, asking a question here. First, for the family, wondering if you recall from your friend what was said to her by the people who gave her Nolan's phone, and for Attorney Crump, wondering for you, at some point, will that phone be given to police for their investigation? They've expressed interest.
Yes.
So the exact wording of the exchange, it was through phone, because again, we were busy trying to figure out who was going to take the missing persons report. Just because when it's in water, when it occurs on the island, it's not necessarily the city or the county, because then it becomes an issue of jurisdiction. So like I said, she went there and spoke with, I cannot remember, I'm so sorry, my brain is everywhere. But she went to the house and retrieved the phone. She said, I have his phone. The phone was okay. As far as like appearance goes, it didn't look damaged or anything. And so then after that, we met with her at the other house where he had stayed the night, July the 3rd, where his car was. Because it was important for us to try to retrieve everything of his that we could. But it honestly, for both instances, it was a runaround, because I know she had issues getting his phone as well. And she ended up calling me, and I think I spoke with the mother. She put me on speakerphone, and I was like, hey, yes, I'm Christine. I'm Nolan's mom. We need his phone. We're trying to find him.
Yes.
I guess.
Okay, we'll go her and then you.
I guess let me answer the second part of the question. Absolutely, after our experts be able to examine the phone, we will let the Mississippi investigators examine the phone. And it's fortuitous that they have the phone, because normally in these investigations, as you know, Reverend Al, they will have the phone and stuff, and they will keep it for months, and the family just be in limbo. But thank God we have the phone now. We're going to do it expeditiously and give it to them to examine it as well.
Anna Schechter with CBS News. So you said that he stayed the night at a friend's. The first question is, did he stay with the friends that he went on the boat with?
Yes, he did.
And my second question is, has anyone come forward and provided you with other photographs or videos from Horn Island from July 4th that afternoon?
They're starting to send them to our office, and that's what Attorney Park was being so adamant about. Please continue to send whatever videos you got, whatever pictures you got. And we're very thankful that some young people have done that.
Good afternoon. Darla Miles, ABC7 New York. First of all, I would like to extend my condolences to you, Mr. and Mrs. Walmsley. I know this is very brave of you, and we appreciate your transparency. Two questions. Also, my regards to you, Reverend Al, Mr. Crump. My first question is, this happened in Mississippi, and you've traveled here to meet with Reverend Al Sharpton. Why was this important to you, and how meaningful has this meeting been with you here in New York?
Talk to national meeting.
So we did this because, once again, what we're wanting is transparency, right? Although I do absolutely respect law enforcement, just the fact that the accidental drowning thing, it made both me and his father uncomfortable. Why are we so quick to rush to this? And we just, at the end of the day, we want answers. This has been very impactful. And I'm gonna be honest with you, the day they found him, we were at Port Mars, which is one of the boat launches. And I was standing beside the water, and I had said a prayer, and I was like, Lord, this isn't what we wanted, but I just asked him to help us get through this, put the right people in our path that could potentially help us. Because at that point, we hadn't reached out to anybody. We didn't know where to start. This is foreign. We've never been through this. No parent should go through this. And then that's when my cousin, Keezy, she sent me a message with some information. My friend, Bianca, her sister, knows a contact with Attorney Ben. And so I said, okay, this has to be it. This has to be God helping us along the way. And I am not religious, but I am spiritual. And for that, I was grateful, because I felt like things were being set up. And at this point, I have always said, we are taking any help. We don't care, black, white, purple, again, we just want to know what happened. That's all we want to know. We just want to know what happened.
And my quick follow-up to that, were you able to get a clear explanation as to the chain of custody of his phone, like how that parent came in possession of his phone? And then explain the resistance. You said you went to the home to get the keys. I don't understand, like, what kind of resistance, what was that exchange of words like, the resistance that you received when you went to go retrieve his keys? Thank you.
He just acted like he didn't know where they were. He just he was like he was clueless. He was like, I don't know. I don't well, just please. I was like, just please go in the room and look for me. Cause be honest with you, at that time, I was very emotional. No one was giving me an answer. So that situation with me and them could have went totally left field. But since those other young kids were in there, at that moment, they kept me from doing what I wanted to do. So getting them and calming them down, it helped me focus on what I was really there for, to find the keys. And like I said, when I asked him, he said he went and looked. And so when he said he couldn't find them, I did what I needed. I left out of their home. And like I said, 5 minutes later, he come back out with the keys. And they didn't come back outside anymore until the police came. Because at that time, police were called because we were looking for his wallet. And then they went to the door. But other than that, when they sent the keys out, they locked everything. They didn't want nothing to do with what was outside that door. So that right there is, when you lied to me, it killed all trust in anything you had to say.
Wait a minute, the police was called then? So who called the police? Is he saying they called the police? It sounds like it. So they was able to call the police then, but not for Nolan? I'm a little confused. And why were they so defensive? You know what I'm saying? Like, number one, to me, that sounds like guilt. When you are automatically defensive, can't nobody talk to you, you acting like you don't know nothing, you're so asleep, you didn't know that the keys was on your Xbox, which was probably located in the same room that he was sleeping in. I don't know. But yeah, those are all signs of guilt to me. You know what I mean? Because if you really cared at that moment, you would have broke out in tears. Like, I would never do nothing like this. I loved him. I don't know. But I mean, to be able to go to sleep, to not say nothing until 11, and I'm still trying to figure out what prompted him to call anybody at 11. What made them call? That's what I would love to know. I mean, I feel like this case deserves a press conference, but have we gotten one? I'm talking about from the official people, because things that they saying, it ain't being put on a record as official. It's only official when it comes from the police. So we need to hear from them. They need to be doing a press conference. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the frustrating part, that we never get press conferences. Even when you make a fuss like this, where they at? You get a 2-minute clip of the sheriff talking. Make it make sense.
Take the last four. 1, 2, 3, 4.
The young lady who had her hand up. Okay.
Go ahead.
Maria Campanodi with CNN. 2 questions for Attorney Crump, just to get some clarification on the timeline of the events. When was Nolan last seen and by whom? And the second question is, who first reported Nolan missing and when?
Well, and I asked his mother to also assist on the second question. But as it's conflicts, you know, the young woman say that he went and got back on the boat with the boys. The boys say no. He said he was going to stay with her. And that's a conflict. And the troubling thing is, if they're saying, well, he made the decision to stay behind, would an 18-year-old college student say, go ahead without me, I don't want my cell phone or anything? It just doesn't add up. And so that around that 3 o'clock time seems to be the last time that we have those statements. However, as Christine said, they're suggesting that they didn't leave to 4:30 though. So, if you said you were leaving at 3, why did you left at 4:30? And where was Nolan for that hour? And talking
Israel.
about, I think she
Make it
was
make
asking about
sense.
the cell phone. What was your? Oh, I answered last scene. I thought you said something else.
I think authorities.
Oh, the missing. Okay.
So his friend contacted me. It was around 11:07. And then I called my friend to ask her had she seen him, because that would be the only other place I would think he would go if he were back on land. And so then when she told me no, she's like, don't worry, I'm going to look for him. And that's when we got on the phone. First I called, it was either the county or Ocean Springs. It was either one of them, but whichever I called first, I was directed to call DMR. Because so DMR, if I'm not mistaken, they handle cases with the island or the water in that area. So the young lady took the information down. She's like, I'm going to give you a call back. I said, okay. So when she called me back, she explained to me, she was like, I've spoken with the Coast Guard, which his friend had contacted the Coast Guard. Warren had contacted the Coast Guard to report Nolan missing as well. So I'm on the phone with the DMR. He's calling Coast Guard. And she said, I spoke with Coast Guard and, you're going to have to complete the report with, I think it was Ocean Springs. So we go down to the Ocean Springs Police Department. We're told because it's a jurisdiction issue that they can't file the missing police report. Jackson County the Sheriff's Department ends up calling me back, I think if I'm remembering this correctly, and she was calling to check to see were they able to do it. I told her no, they couldn't do it. The young lady on the phone and the officer at Ocean Springs Police Department spoke. He explained to her why Ocean Springs Police Department could not complete the missing persons report. She said, okay. He gives the phone back. She's like, look, I'm just going to go ahead and do it so there's no more back and forth. So my husband and I, we met an officer in the McDonald's parking lot. I think at this point it's maybe around 12. Don't quote me on that. But we explained to him, what he looked like, age, all those things. Last time he was reported seen, which again, by his friend, he said that the last time he physically saw him was at 3 p.m. and they were getting ready to leave the island.
Israel Rodriguez with the U.S. Sun. Have you been able to gather additional information made by Warren's mother, Ashley Cole, on social media, where she said the group left the island after they experienced trouble with the boat and that the boat began taking in water?
Your question is what directly? We know she made that statement.
Have you been able to gather additional information on that?
No, we have
That's
not.
what I want to know too.
Thank you. Kevin Ortega Rojas with Here's Why News. I was hoping that the family could clarify Nolan's relationship with the young men that he traveled to the island with. We've heard different accounts of how long he's known them. And I was wondering also if you folks have spoken to those families since they lawyered up.
High school friends.
Yeah. Say that second part again.
Have they talked to the families? No.
Last question.
That's crazy. No respect.
I want to speak to the family. I stand here as a cousin, a first cousin of a victim. In 2020, he went out with his friend and the mother, who was white, and he went missing. He was found dead, deceased, in a field behind her house. She was arrested. She was charged with failing to report a missing child and contributing to the delinquent of a juvenile.
Oh, that's
so your story.
I know that.
It's very familiar. Your pain, I feel it. And I will continue to advocate. I'm an activist and I go all across the world. But today I'm here because I stand with you. As a cousin of a victim, I know what you feel when you don't get justice and the system is up against you.
Oh man, that's so sad. But I cannot even think. Last name Charles. It was a boy that was a teenager. Who was found. That's who I was talking about. He was found in a sugar cane, face down. The mother, that this lady picked him up from his home, from his dad. The mother had took him. The mom had let the dad take care of him. So he was living with his dad. And some white woman came and picked him up, which allegedly he was friends with her son or something. They went to her place and was there drinking and doing all kind of stuff. They claim that he started tripping and ran off or something. They was doing mushrooms is what ended up coming out. And God, I can't think his name. Neither one of their name, but that's what I was mentioning when I said that I had covered a case where a kid was face down in some water and his face was dang near half of it. You could see his whole bottom rack on the side because the jaw was gone. That's who she talking about. And I can't think of their names. It drives me crazy. I cannot think of their names. But maybe in my next live stream I'll say something. But I think his name start with a Q. And she did become an activist after that, from what I've seen. And she was also at the Carmelo Anthony trial. She was standing, as a matter of fact, she was standing with Dr. Candace Matthews when she came live about the situation.
God bless you. Thank you. We will follow up, and when we're ready to formal announcements. Again, the funeral service is not to prompt religion, it's to seek justice and unity. And we want everybody, black, white, everybody, to come and extol what this young man represented. It's not a protest rally. It will be to really lift up the spirit of this young man and to stand with the family. If we have to do protest rallies, that'll be announced at another time. But the funeral services is to talk about how Nolan was a great young man to his family, and we're there to comfort them. Thank you for your time. Let us, please.
I'm sorry. So I know I have been seeing some younger people, real adults, older people doing protests. We actually had a very small one in Ocean Springs. Some young boys that knew Nolan, actually some of his friends. So what Elmore and I would like to say is, if you do, please be peaceful.
Right.
Nolan was not someone who liked fights, physical fights. He really didn't even like arguments. So don't go out there trying to be tough. Just think about what Nolan would want. And I'm telling you, he would not want that type of behavior. So let's just make sure that we keep it peaceful and respectful to one another's and others, and just stay away from negativity, but also to all of those who have sent beautiful messages. We have not gone through all of them, but I want you to know that we appreciate you, your love, your support, standing with us, and just keep us in your prayers.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so Selena Charles, that's the cousin's name, that was just speaking. And I believe that's what made her become an activist. But yeah, it's just so many, y'all. It's so many. And shout out to Don Lemon. I'm actually playing this from his channel, who got the exclusive interview with Ben Crump when he first came on. He's interviewed the family and everything. So check him out. He had 21K in his chat today. When I looked, I'm like, wow. So a lot of people was tuned in. Don had mentioned that the national media hadn't even got involved, in the beginning, because that's what they do. They be on code. If you pay attention to the news, when they find a black person hanging, You get 30 seconds of a news clip. Okay. And then they automatically just rule it. And we know back in the day, the media was, they responsible for a lot of things. But I ain't about to go there. But one thing I want to just talk about this timeline again. So the father, what we just heard, the father, he went out there on Sunday, July 5th, and he said they went out there about 6 o'clock in the morning or 5 a.m. A coach called him and he had a boat, and so they went out there together. And so Nolan's father went out by boat and personally searched near the island. I heard him say they was out there for like an hour and a half. A multi agency search involved local and state personnel, marine authorities, federal resources. Marine authorities and federal resources. So authorities asked the public for videos, photographs, and witness information from people who were on the island. And we know that Ben Crump and his crew is also asking for that same information. So Monday, July 6th at approximately 8:45 a.m. is when his body was found by a park ranger who located the body in the water, and it was along the shore near the northwest end of Horn Island. And that is where this comes in at right here. This is what they consider the northwest end of Horn Island. Right there where you see the X and the red dot at is where the northwest tip is at. So it's the last confirmed sighting. And hopefully y'all can see that pretty good. I'm looking on the other device. So that is what they are saying. So let's see. They located his body at along the shoreline near the northwest end of the Horn Island. Authorities said the body was believed to be Nolan, and the family later identified him publicly. The location was near Horn Island more than a day after Nolan was last seen. Then between July 7th and 9th, hold on, let me move this comment. And BFF said, I want to know how do his friends supposedly called that Katie girl. Now if they called him, and maybe I missed it if somebody said that, but how would they have called her if Nolan was just meeting her? Did they know her personally? Is she a part of? Do she know somebody that knows somebody? What school was she affiliated with? Did his friends know the female, and it was just Nolan's first time meeting him? So that's a great observation right there. So I want to know that too. But authorities continue collecting witness statements and videos on July 7th through the 9th. The sheriff said the young people who had traveled with Nolan were cooperating and that investigators had not found evidence of foul play at that stage. And that's why the family got Ben Crump. He also emphasized that the investigation was continuing and an official autopsy was pending. That's what they always say. And then they come up with, he did it to himself and we didn't find anything. Yeah, and that be it. So the family retained Ben Crump and announced it would obtain an independent autopsy from a forensic pathology outside of Mississippi. And I wish they would have just kept it at that without giving details. So then July 10th, Nolan's family, his parents, Ben Crump and Reverend Al Sharpton, held a press conference in New York, which we just got done watching. And that press conference was held at, I think that was Spike Lee's facility that they were at, which is why they had mentioned him. They called for transportation. They called for transparent investigation and asked everyone to record who recorded videos on Horn Island to submit it. Crump said experts would attempt to recover data that appeared to be missing or deleted from Nolan's phone. The family said the cell phone would eventually be turned over to investigators. Now we're at July 12th through the 13th. and today is the 15th. So his friend, this is the Trayston Shepherd, spoke publicly and disputed a viral interpretation of a confrontational video. He said the shouting video in the clip was his, not Nolan's, and that Nolan was not the person arguing in the video. But was he standing there? Reporting said 2 other people supported Shepard's accounts. So the sheriff investigation remained open. Officials and independent autopsy findings have not been released publicly as of July 13th, and today is July 15th, and it still has not been released. So what do y'all think so far? It's a lot of information, and then I want to cover what law enforcement is saying versus what the family is saying. So if y'all didn't get a chance to yet, please smack that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so you know next time I go live and all that good stuff. So thank you for that fair use disclaimer, Terry. I appreciate you, fam. Definitely. Yes, he said, shout out to Sleuth Nation. Absolutely. And Colin Kaepernick paid for the autopsy. Yes, shout out to him. Byron Allen donated $100K on the GoFundMe, and Tyler Perry is paying for the funeral. Yes, so thank you for that. Park said phone may have answers. Definitely. Why his phone taken from his friend, from him? Why his frenemies take content from his phone? How did they get in the phone? Stepmom deleted phone info. Maybe Nolan has something in the phone. I believe he would have. Most definitely. Most definitely. So in order to be non-violent, you have to demonstrate your capacity for great violence. Otherwise, you are harmless and will get no results. Man, well, that Ben Crump them, it's sounding like they getting to the bottom of it. Like forensics said, they got the DA to to agree, sit down and talk to the family at least. Horny Island for Katie. Yeah, I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. Wild Crump the clown, leave him alone. He doing what he do. But the poo party is where he got, allegedly. My kids go on boats with, okay, hold on. So forensics says, yes, thank you. Thank you. Yes, Kawan Bobby Charles was his name, and his cousin that was just speaking, that was Selena Charles. And so, yeah, she was the one. She literally was posting pictures of Kawan like Emmett Till. And it definitely gave you that look. Kawan was only between 14 and 16 years old. And that parent should have never picked him up without the permission of his parent, and should have never allowed them to be underage drinking. They was living out in a trailer out in the middle of nowhere by a sugarcane field, and he was found face down in some water that wasn't even ankle deep. So yeah, thank you so much. Oh my God. Boy, Fly, I definitely shouldn't have put that up. Martin's mentality is needed, but so is Malcolm. Okay? I agree. I truly admire his parents' strength, especially his mom. I don't know. Could be as strong. God bless them. Yeah, absolutely. And may justice prevail for Nolan. Yes, I definitely. Y'all, please smack that thumbs up as y'all come in. And oh my God. Also, all these hung around the world is, yep, exactly. And I was talking to somebody that used to work at a college the other day. And do you know that she said that so many of them are being found in closets hung? These are stories you don't hear about Why? Because the families don't come out and say anything. BFF said, OMG. Didn't a similar incident occur in Louisiana? They occurring everywhere, but I'm not sure which one. I can't remember where Kawans was at, but I'm not sure which one you're talking about, forensics. I don't understand why negative Nancy's are in here. Don't watch. Thank you. Get out of here if you don't want to hear. You don't agree or whatever. I ain't here to entertain y'all at all. Not even in the least bit. But so as far as you know, the issues with the family versus what is being said by authorities, and it is sad, Fly. It really is. It's ridiculous. Washington, D.C. recently, a black person was found outside of police. What? I didn't hear about that. I didn't even hear about that one. I wish I could protect these innocent melanated kids. Oh my God. Speaking of the kids, I ran across a woman who, her autistic kid was being abused at a school. It's just ridiculous, y'all. It's so freaking many. And the woman ain't getting no help. She need help. I talked to a couple of my buddies that cover cases like that on a daily. I hope that they blow her case up, because this little baby that he only 7 or 8 years old, he didn't have to deal with that, and they ain't doing nothing. I was thinking about the same incident you were. Okay, that's why I said that. So Kawan was in Louisiana. Okay, I remember that vividly. Man, I'm black too. Okay, but you saying some stuff. I seen that. Shout out to Lanier. Good day to you. And live around all whites. I only got one strap. Whoa. Okay, well you good then, right? You comfy. But okay, so law enforcement narratives versus the family. So law enforcement, why Nolan, the issue, why Nolan remained. So law enforcement says witnesses reportedly said he voluntarily stayed to spend time with a woman and expected another ride. So the family's concern is his parents say he was taught to remain with a group and would not normally allow his friends to leave him on an isolated island. Come on now. The issue with the cell phone, a friend says Nolan left it on the boat with other phones while people swim. But guess what? The other people that was swimming and left their phones, they left with their phones and they was found alive. Nolan did not have the phone when allegedly arranging another ride. This is what the family is saying. His mother says content appeared to have been missing when it was recovered. The other issue, keys. His keys remain, the law enforcement said his keys remain with friends, with ops, or at a main land location. The family questioned why he would voluntarily remain without his keys, phone, or confirmed transportation. It don't make sense. He definitely would have called his parents. The possible drowning. Authorities said drowning is suspected or considered pending the autopsy. So with that being said, it sounds like they had already made up their decision which way they was going to go with it, right? And the family peeped that out. They like, oh, hell no. He didn't drown. He can swim and all this. So drowning is suspected pending the autopsy. His family says he was an athlete and could swim, and asked how no one saw him struggling in a crowded area. We all want to know that. Strong swimmers can still drown, so swimming ability alone does not rule it out. And that's true. But people would have seen him. It's broad damn daylight. Okay, broad daylight. Foul play. The sheriff said investigators had not found evidence of foul play. The family says the conflicting stories and missing details require an independent investigation before foul play is excluded. Okay, that's the problem. Why, if in case you want to know, They just didn't waste time getting the proper people to help. They didn't waste no time with that, right? So the friends' cooperation. Sheriff Ledbetter said the friends' cooperation is cooperating with investigators. Crump said some had retained lawyers. Hiring lawyers is not evidence of guilt, but it's definitely not a friend move, okay? That's an op move. So the viral argument video, Crump initially suggested the video involved Nolan seeking his phone. And sheriffs now say that the voice was his. His friend Trayston said that it was his voice and Nolan was not involved. So the videos meaning remain disputed unless investigators can authenticate it. Now, I did a short on that video, and what I heard is something about, it was a lot of F-bombs. You could hear that clearly, but I can't. Let me go to my short because I can't think of it, what it was right now. Said something about keep doing what you're doing or something. If you want to find out, keep doing what the fuck you doing. That's what I heard on the because so I was like, wait a minute, what video are they talking about? Because I didn't hear that at all about give me my effing phone. So I was just wondering, was it another video release that I did not see? But I'm gonna go to my short right quick. I'm gonna just play the audio. And let's listen. I know it sounds bad, y'all. You want to motherfucking go see, keep doing what the fuck you doing. Fuck. That's what I heard. I'm just saying. That's what I heard. So I didn't hear nothing about a phone, and I was wondering, was it another video that they was talking about? But that's literally what I heard. I might have had a word or two off, but that's what I think they were saying. Like, and yeah. So all right, so the friend said the viral argument video was him. Okay, arguing with a girl is what I had heard. Phone evidence. Investigators requested the phone but had not received it. Wait, hold on, y'all. I'm going to get back to this. I got to make a run right quick. Let's go to... No, that ain't going to be... Let's go here right quick.
About. And then sometimes you'll wake up and you'll smile thinking about what your loved one. But
everything freezing up on me right now.
But he was just genuinely a good person. Like I always say, all the best parts of me are with him.
And Dad, anything else you want to add?
It's just, he's going to be really missed. I know a lot of his teammates, they all look to him as a leader. He's more like a silent leader. Not real big on words, more action, which is kind of like I was. I really wasn't real big on talking. I really wanted to show you, and you follow me, and people followed him. And it's gravitated. He put in the work, he worked hard, and he knew he was focused on what he wanted. And he wanted to make life better for, his family. He wanted to have his own family. He used to say, Dad, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. I said, well, son, you got to take it one step at a time. Slow down, let's go, let's walk this thing out. Let's train, let's sign our deals, let's make these teams, make these camps, put the work in, and everything else will work out. Even his baby brother, their bond got even stronger because now I have a big brother that he's finna do something. So now I want to outdo that. So his focus and his confidence has got even better. So I was looking forward to both of them having outstanding years.
Seasons,
He seemed like he inspired in the home and he inspired
Absolutely.
outside of the home. And Attorney Crump, where do we go from here? What's next?
Well, the deleted messages that Christina was going to
So-
briefly touch on, we want to get the phone and figure that out.
Backtrack on that. When we finally got his phone, me and my sister went through the phone. We went in his Snapchat. He had 2 accounts, absolutely nothing. It wasn't even 24 hours, which is how long videos and pictures stay in Snapchat. And I was just like, that can't be. Like, I've seen Nolan whenever he snaps, like when he goes and he's having fun, like he does videos. Like, there was absolutely nothing, no saved videos. And even my sister was like, yeah, that's suspicious,
Michael,
you know.
We having an independent autopsy done at the behest of his family. Colin Kaepernick helped pay for the independent autopsy. We flew his body up from Mississippi to D.C. because they wanted an autopsy done by a person with no interaction with the Mississippi law enforcement, because there's an issue of
So Tracy, what his parents think happened here? Do they believe this was just an unfortunate accident, tragedy, or that it's something more sinister?
I was in Ocean Springs when it happened, and I was ill in disbelief when I got the news that Nolan was missing. So when I got all the details surrounding the case, that they told me he was out at Horn Island, and he came up missing or whatnot. I talked with his dad, and we just had a conversation. That was kind of after the fact when they had found his body, because I was just giving the family their respect that they deserve, and when everything first took place. But I was sharing all the detail that the family was sharing, just putting the word out there, and just so everybody could be on notice and everybody be paying attention.
When you say you talked to the dad, did he kind of accept this as an accident and a tragedy, or was he more suspicious?
Well, no, he was more so just searching for answers right now, because it had just happened and there was a lot of questions still unanswered.
Usually high school football stars have a pretty close relationship with their coaches. What can you tell us about just Nolan as a human being?
Nolan was a great young man, with a big personality. Everybody gravitated to Nolan because of his smile. He just wanted everybody to be happy, and he was a joy to coach, a joy to be around. To sum Nolan up, long story short, Nolan is a guy that I would let date my daughter.
I mean, there were rumblings that he may have gotten into an argument, that there might have been a confrontation or something like that. I mean, was he a guy who would stand up, where, his hackles would go up, or was he more of a get-along type guy?
He's more of a get-along type guy. Don't get me wrong. Now, if something happened, he'll defend himself, but I knew right then in that video that wasn't Nolan.
One of the theories is that that he was drinking and that there was a riptide that day and that maybe he got caught in a bad current out there. Knowing him as an athlete, and we've heard that he did know how to swim, would that surprise you if he ended up in that situation?
I mean, it would surprise me, that happened, but like I said, man, I'm just waiting till the family, give out, details of what they done gathered.
Was there racial tension at this school?
No, I don't think it was no racial intention at the school, from my experience. Cause you have, predominant white school, you have black kids there, and they all, played and grew up together and got along. Now, some stuff might have happened that I didn't see. So, I can't speak wholeheartedly on it, but from what I did see, it was a tight-knit community, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we need to get the full interviews of these things happening. Hold on, let me get here. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to what I was reading as far as the conflicts with the parents versus the police. So the phone evidence investigators requested the phone but had not received it by the most recent reportings, and the family plans to have a forensic recovery first and says it will be turned over. But now the updated conference, we heard them say that they will be working together with this phone, and I think that is very good. So verified cell phone and alleged deleted messages, and we know that Nolan's parents said that. I believe that something could have been deleted from there if he's known to always be recording and stuff like that. So I'll take their word until otherwise. But I'm hoping that we get some answers really soon. And not just some BS explanation that from one side of it. You know what I'm saying? The people that left alive is actually leading the narrative right now. But something happened. If it was 200 people out there, a lot of people seen it. And I just don't know how you can go from this happy photo to him being left and for dead. Okay. And family not notified or the Coast Guards for 8 freaking hours. Okay, because we also heard them say at first they was somebody just said it. First they said 3, they was leaving, then it turned out to be 4:30. Now I know 3 was the last sighting of Nolan. But if they was there to 4:30, then they would have seen Nolan, because where else would Nolan have been? You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't like he could walk off to some restroom or some paved ground area or a park area, because this is it. You arrive by boat, you leave on boat, and it's heavy terrain outside of this. Period. So ain't nobody trying to stay out there. It's only beautiful for the moment. And that water could change at any time. I mean, I believe that we're going to get some answers. Some people going to be held accountable, hopefully, because we see what it is. And then that judge speaking out was very helpful too. Hello, Miss V in chat. Shout out to Nurse Am. Miss V in chat, how's the last confirmed sighting at 3, but at 4:30 they said Nolan wanted to stay in the island. Love them all up. Justice for Nolan. Exactly. Lock them all up, I think you meant. But yeah, it ain't making sense. A lot of what they're saying is not making sense. Okay. And what did forensics say? Right, just one night I was driving through Louisiana and busted the quick U-turn ever when the sign read Slidell. That was too close to Mississippi for me. Oh, okay. Man, listen, yeah, Mississippi has a reputation that we all know. And what Emmett Till happened in Mississippi, you know, and it's just it ain't just, it's every damn where. Racism is everywhere. We ain't gonna act like we don't know what's going on. And it's actually worse because of who's in office. Also, why are we ignoring the fact that he was there with other friends that were the same color? Because he wasn't with them. He didn't come with them. They came separately. He spoke to them. I mean, and that we paying attention to that too. You know, and that was his real friend, somebody he actually did grow up with, that his family actually do consider best friends. And the mothers are good friends. The mother of one of them boys, of the boy he was there talking to, is the same mother that went and retrieved the phone. Is the same mother that called her or talked to her sons, and they said what they said. They the ones that tried to track his phone initially, you know. So it's still a lot of unanswered questions. What is the focus on the white kids? Well, I'm sure you know the story. I ain't about to go through it. We at the end right now, but we know it's common sense what the focus is. And the biggest issue is how law enforcement was trying to handle it, talking about it wasn't no foul play. suspected and all that. When you hear that, they just gonna wrap it up, and that's what's gonna be their findings. And they wasn't trying to have that as the findings when we all can see that it's some corruption going on here. It's some bullshit going on. Who leaves somebody at an island, take their phone, got their keys and car, and don't call the mother until 11 o'clock? Again, I'm going to ask, what alerted him? What made him in 8 hours at 11 o'clock decide, oh, I'm going to call the mother? And I still don't know exactly what he said. What, we can't find Nolan? How did he know it was an issue? They didn't, it ain't like he talked to Nolan and Nolan told him something. So what made the friend call the Coast Guard at 11 o'clock and then call the mother at 11:07 when he hadn't even talked to Nolan? Because they had his phones. They had his phone. They had his keys. What made them get alarmed? That's what I want to know. So my question is, why is it a racial issue and not just a dumb kid issue? Because it happens a lot, and that is on the rise. It makes sense to have that issue. I mean, come on, man. I'm not about to go through that. So anyway, y'all, we gonna go ahead and get up out of here. This is long enough. We over 3 hours. Shout out to the 132 people in the building. From whatever channel you tuning in from, just please make sure you connect to that channel, hit the like button, set all notifications so you know next time we go live. And I'll definitely be covering this case along with Romika Meeks. We still on that case. So it is what it is. Hit replay if you want to hear what I think about everything. But right now, we 3 hours and 11 minutes in, and we gonna get up out of here. I ain't gonna hold y'all no longer, but shout out to everybody in the building, everybody that tuned in. Drop down in the comments. Shout out to Gretchen for dropping the super chat, and we definitely didn't reach our goal today, but thank y'all all for tuning in. We gonna get up out of here. As far as anybody involved, we want to see that ass locked up.
Lock his ass up. Lock his ass up. You're going to jail. You're going to jail. Lock his ass up. Lock his ass up. You're going to jail. You're going.
And I definitely expect for Ben Crump them to stand on business.
I stand on business. You drop me somewhere, I stand on business. You drop me in your hood, I stand on business. I've been stand on business. I stand on business. You drop me somewhere.
Yep, we're going to get up out of here. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Make this go viral. You ain't got shit, but ignore it with your dumb ass. BFF block Josh. Fuck up out of here. Peace and love, y'all. We out.